What's up, everybody, and welcome to Shapes of Gaming, the weekly podcast all about video games that's unedited, unfiltered, and unhinged. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Stenson, Neocharge on PSN, and joining me for episode one, the very first episode, is my good friend, the co-founder of this venture and the retro gaming encyclopedia himself, Bob Harriman, also known as Leon Lion Hartley on PSN. What's up, man?
Hello, you sexy fucks.
Yes, there it is.
How you doing, buddy?
Amazing. I'm good. I'm drinking my beer, having some fun, about to talk some games.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. So, yeah, let's get into what we're drinking, right? So, what are you drinking?
Well, happen to, as you know, I am a chocolate and coffee enthusiast myself. So happen to be just perusing the store, going, what sounds good? What looks good? What catches my eye? Until I saw this beautiful white can sitting here from
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, from Duke Law Brewing. It's the Sweet Baby Java, a chocolate peanut butter coffee porter. Really
Beautiful.
refreshing on a winter day, but I'm a dark beer 24/7 anyways.
Heck yeah. And Colorado is very famous for a lot of breweries and good beer. And
Oh.
we like to drink, and we like to drink and talk games. And we're going to talk beer and video games on this podcast. That looks amazing. I think I've had Sweet Baby Jesus. What's different? It just has a coffee taste?
Yeah, the Sweet Baby Java is the exact same thing, except they add the coffee element to the porter. So the Sweet Baby Jesus is just the chocolate peanut butter porter that's housed in. I almost wanted it, and I saw it. It was right there, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks delicious." And then I saw Java, and that immediately caught my attention. Because if you mix caffeine and alcohol, even in flavor profiles, I'm a sucker to you.
Right. Yeah, dude, I'm a sucker for dessert beers, and I love the sour beers too. So that's actually what I'm drinking. And I want to set the stage here, right? Picture this. Close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, but close your eyes. And you're in the decade of your childhood, right? For us, that's the early 90s. Middle school, let's say, middle school. You're at the public pool. You get out of the pool. You're talking with your friends. There's no fucking cell phones, just pure conversation and friendship. You go to the concession stand on a hot summer day. What do you get?
I always went ahead, and it's funny you mentioned that. When I got out of the pool on a summer day, you can't find it as a beer, but some listener might know what I'm talking about. It was a Hawaiian Punch style soda called Tahitian Treat.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's really funny you say that, because I actually have a Hawaiian Punch beer. It's not the one I'm drinking now, but I have one in my fridge. It's a Hawaiian Punch sour. It's amazing. It's called TKO Punch.
I'm sold.
Yeah, when you come over, you can have one. It's really good. It tastes like alcoholic Hawaiian Punch.
I mean, what else is there not to like about that?
Right. But yeah, that's also another sour I have. I have a ton of sours. I have a fridge dedicated to beer, as you've seen, in my garage, and I love it. But
I mean, I have a fridge in my garage. It used to be dedicated for beer, but she's getting old, so I think it's finally dying.
Yeah. We're big beer drinkers in this house. At the concession stand, you get a bomb pop.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Early 90s, you're getting a fucking bomb pop, and that is this beer. It's a bomb pop beer. It's called Rocket Pop Sour. It's from Launchpad Brewery, and they brew it right up north in Aurora, Colorado, local brewery. So
it's funny you mentioned that pool or beach. Funny little gaming upside here for that is it was actually at our local pool where I'm from. Small town, ain't nobody ever heard of it. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
But I got out of the pool and took a break one day and got a sweet Tahitian treat. And then I turned around, and the lifeguards that were and staff that were facilitating the area, they had a TV, and they were sitting there and they were playing games, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And that was the first time I put my hands on a Rumble Pack and played some Star Fox 64.
Hell yeah, Nintendo 64. Love it.
Yep. Yeah, it's just to feel that rumble in your hand, and then when you hit the
Mhm.
bomb and it goes, oh,
Yep.
it was
Yep.
mind-blowing. I stopped swimming after that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, when I was at the public pool, I would be swimming and, soaking up the sun, but I would just be waiting to go home and play my 64.
Yep. Hey, we
Yep.
gonna play Smash? All right. Well, the question is, or if you were playing GoldenEye, you always
Oh,
had
yeah.
the one number one house rule.
What?
Nobody ever got to pick odd job.
Yeah, no, you can't do odd job. He's basically a hack to win. So, no, I'd be playing, Cruis'n USA. That was a game we played a lot. That was the launch game we got. I was 9 years old, came down on a Christmas Day, and they had the console already set up, and we lost it. I think I have that video. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, you know what? I do remember that.
Yeah.
That was my day with the N64 when I got it on Christmas too.
Mhm.
It's funny. Cruis'n USA on the 64 is actually the censored version of Cruis'n USA
Oh, yeah, probably.
because
I can see that.
yeah, if you remember in the original arcade version, um, you would, get to the White House in DC, and when you got up there, if you were in first place, there was Bill Clinton in a hot tub with a bunch of women, in, bikinis,
That's
and Ninte
awesome.
and Nintendo said, "No, you can't do that on a home console. We're family friendly."
Man, the '90s were so cool. We have better technology now and, better internet for sure and networking and the you can just converse with someone right from your fucking phone, text them, right? But man, the early '90s, there was something about it. Something about it. Something about going into the game rental store, right? Or you could say the movie rental store, and then they had a wall of games, right? And you saw Banjo Kazooie, and you were like, "What the fuck's this game?" And I found Ocarina of Time, but Banjo Kazooie, you bring it home, you can't beat it, and you're like, "Fuck, my rental period's almost over." And I never beat Banjo Kazooie until I got it on the 360 arcade, on
Oh,
the Xbox
wow.
360, because I couldn't beat it. I couldn't beat it within that time. And of course, you're a little kid. You have chores and shit, and you have a finite amount of time to play the video games. Same as an adult, honestly. But yeah, I would rent the game from the I think it was called Beckett's or something. I lived in a small town too, and I could never beat it. And when I got beat it on the 360, it kind of like shed a tear because I'm like, holy shit, I finally did it.
You're right, that wall that just sat
Hmm.
there, we didn't have a Blockbuster. Ooh, there's a
Yeah,
callback.
right. Neither
We
did
had
we.
our Oh, yeah. We had a family video, style local mom and pop shop, and I remember I was looking for a PS1 game, so this is a little bit later, a couple years later, and I was like, "Man, what is this game? I think I'm gonna rent it," and tried it, took it home, Metal Gear Solid, booted it up the
Oh
first time,
shit!
got into it, no spoiler warning for a 25-year-old game, but, when you get in
You
there,
gotta have the spoiler warning.
yeah, you get in there. Anybody that doesn't know anything about it,
Just
the
hit
next
the
10 seconds,
30-second skip.
hit that 30-second skip. Alright, now that we're there, you get in there and Campbell is like, "Hey, you need to find Naomi,"
Hmm.
and, actually, it was the DARPA chief, and he says, "Oh, yeah, I've got the codec right here. I forgot it. It's on the oh, wait, check, it's on the back of the case."
Yep.
Well, it's a family video store. They don't give you
Right.
the case with the game. So I had to
Yeah.
go line by line, number on the codec until I got to Naomi, and that's actually how I found some of the other, hidden codecs,
That's
tracks that are
yeah.
in the game.
Oh yeah. There's a
So
lot of hidden ones.
Mhm. Oh, that's why I'm waiting for we'll talk about that, later, but that's why I'm waiting for, a certain re-release, to go in and see about the different codecs frequencies and, like, the healing frequency and
Hmm.
all oh, god. I could go on and on about Metal Gear.
Yep. Yep. But that's when Kojima broke the fourth wall, and the codec code was on the back of the case.
Yep.
So just so incredible. And then we won't spoil the Psycho Mantis fight, but we if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you were there, you know what we're talking about.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, as you can see, this is going to be a conversational podcast. We hit record, we drink, we talk games, we reminisce. Bob and I aren't young, let's just say that, and we did grow up in the '90s, so we're probably going to reference '90s a lot. We grew up with the 64, PS1. The first time I played a console was the SNES, right? So
Oh,
we're
wow.
yeah, yeah. I didn't own it because we weren't rich enough to own a console until the 64, but my friends did, and I had some cool friends that would let me come over, right, and play the SNES, and the Sega Genesis was another one. I played Sonic 2, Echo the Dolphin, and my uncle owned that console. So every time, the coolest uncle, every time I would go to my grandma's, just straight to his bedroom to play the Sega Genesis.
I had that. You had that cool uncle too.
Oh
Then
yeah,
I
yeah,
might mine had a SNES at his place, and he lived out in the middle of
nice.
nowhere. So we're nowhere near town. I mean, we're talking 30 minutes to the nearest town, kind of a drive. He
Yeah.
had a SNES there. That's where I got to play some awesome battleship games, where
Mhm.
you get in and you could actually control the cannons in almost like a first person view mode as part of your battles. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about,
Oh yeah.
that vivid memory is in your brain now.
Yep, yep. Clay Fighter, what else? All kinds of stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
grew up on video games. We both grew up on video games, and now we can afford our own consoles, so that's cool. We have our own consoles, and we'll get into a little bit of that and how we play and what we play on. But this episode, our main topic is we've decided to take a look back on the year and what we've played so far because we're starting the podcast, mid-year, May 1st. This is going to go live, and we wanted to talk about the games we've already played this year only and what we think about them. Kind of touch on them a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna have we'll do some conversational stuff in the beginning. We'll talk about whatever we want. And then we're going to do some housekeeping, which is business stuff and where you can find us, like the Discord stuff, just housekeeping stuff. Then main topic, then the games we're playing, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, how's life been? What's your week been like?
Oh, hey man, I'm telling you, it's been busy. That full time job plus taking care of the family, it makes
Hmm.
it really hard when at the end of the day when it's like, hey, I've got a few hours. I think I'm gonna dive into this and really hit this game, and really clam in there. And we'll get into that when we
Oh
get into
yeah,
what we're playing because right now only one game has had my attention.
yes it
Um,
has.
Same with you.
Yeah,
Spoiler out there for everybody: it is not the same game.
it is not the same game. I have one that I touched for a bit, but yeah, one I'm very deep in that I want to get all into. I want to get intimate with that game. Oh, so good.
Intimate with a few
Um,
parts of that game.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I've been gaming a little bit. Summer's coming, so yard work has to be done. Kind of sucks. Uh, Early in the week, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole. I wish I wouldn't have. And so I just mentioned this thing I saw a long time ago. This dude was in love with this car, legitimately in love with this car, right? And he was on. It's called My Strange Addiction. Okay, I'm warning you right now. I'm fucking warning you right now. If you start, it will be a rabbit hole, dude. These people, I feel sorry for them, and it's hilarious at the same time. There's one where she eats her couch. She has an addiction to eating her fucking couch, and it, like, goes into it, and she goes, like, these people, I don't man, I don't know if it's staged or not, but they're, like, talking to the doctors, and it's hilarious when they talk to the doctors because they're like, "Well, my advice," the person goes in, she's like, "I'm having a tummy ache, and my tummy hurts." And the doctor's like, "Well, I don't know if this is the problem, but I would suggest you maybe stop eating your remotes. Maybe stop eating your remote controls. And your liver is enlarged 40%." And she's like, "Why?" "Well, it's probably because you're eating your fucking remote controls in your couch."
Have you ever seen there's that clip of the old man doctor, and
Mhm.
it's the lady, she's portly, and saying, "Well, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna starve." And he looks at her
Mhm.
dead face and goes, "No, no, no. You're fine. You can afford to lose a couple pounds.
Oh
You won't fade
gosh.
away." Just right to her face.
Jesus. Yeah, when they talk to the doctors, it's so funny. There's one that eats rocks. She's, like, legitimately eating rocks. So, there's some I'm not gonna get into that I lost my fucking appetite for the day after I saw it. So, here's your warning. If you wanna look into it, it's entertaining, but it's called My Strange Addiction. This is your warning. May God have mercy on your soul. There God. Alright. Yeah. I
That was back when TV was, next level.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. There's some crazy ones on there. Uh, what else? I'm going to see Thunderbolts this
Oh,
week,
nice.
Friday. Yeah. I'm a big MCU fan. More phase 1 through 3. You know, the multiverse saga has been, hit or miss.
Yeah. I I
Let's just say that.
I'll say the phases 1 through 3 can be summed up in one scene, and that's the very first Iron
Mhm.
Man within the first 5 minutes, and he just stands there, all Jesus pose
The
style,
Jericho.
doing the Jericho. Like,
Yeah.
that's phases 1 through 3. Everything else is kinda
Yep.
like a little yapping dog. It's got bark, but it doesn't have bite.
Oh yeah, Iron Man kicked it off, and that was like the first. Well, I mean, we got Spider-Man, right? But that was a really good superhero movie and the kickoff of the MCU,
It it
right?
it it was, but I do argue, there were 2, uh,
Oh, the Batman
com
movies, yeah, for sure.
no, 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 I'm talking about from, at least one of them from MCU, the other one's from Dark Horse Comics, that really kicked off my childhood.
Spawn,
First one, Spawn. I'm
yeah.
sorry, not a great movie, but there's some people in there, that really nailed their roles.
Mhm.
And then notably, I was this is everybody was in that Underworld phase. I did not care for Underworld. I'm sorry, folks, if I just hurt somebody's feelings, but Blade was by far king. Um, he nailed
Nice.
the guy. It was a nailed role, perfect. And if they ever do a relaunch, um, you just can't cast anybody else. I'll go with low expectations. We'll leave it like that.
Yeah, yeah. The beautiful thing about art when it comes to, video games, movies, music, TV shows, it's subjective, and you can
Yes.
disagree with us, and neither us or you, the listener, is right or wrong when it comes to this is the best movie in the world. It's all subjective. And that's why we have a podcast, so we could talk about it.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. That's the most important thing about who we are. You can have your opinions all day long. Neither side is right or wrong. I always use that analogy, and you've heard me say this before: is walk into a sci-fi convention and go
Mhm.
find the room and just put out a sign that says Star Wars is better than Star Trek or Star
Oh,
Trek is
yeah.
better than Star Wars, and
Oh, boy.
watch the flames fly. And it's sad
Mhm.
that this world we live in is you're going to get to fist fights over something silly, when in reality, everybody can have a difference of opinions because, quite
Right.
frankly, those aren't the 2 best sci-fi, experiences in my opinion. I am a huge fan of, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica and of, Doctor Who. Both
Yeah.
sci-fi, both completely different. That doesn't
Mhm.
take away from Star Wars, that doesn't take away from Star Trek. It's just a different opinion, and that's okay, folks.
Exactly. Exactly. And people will start talking about it in the room. Don't fist fight, though. Don't get angry. Emotion is really easy to go to. Getting angry, just talk about it, you know? Just talk
Commu
about it.
Communication's king, man.
Absolutely. That's yeah, the main reason we started this podcast, to talk games. Before we get into housekeeping, I want to make a public service announcement because I went through this. You were sitting right next to me when it happened. But I want to make sure everyone is aware of this and is warned ahead of time. I was playing Clair Obscure, right? And I wanted to get the DLC pack, right? For the costumes. And I just wanted to support him a little bit. The game's super cheap. I wanted to support him. So I was like, fuck it. Why not? I'll get the DLC pack. I have mine set to if you're logging in, there's a passcode. Uh, but I don't have put in your password for checking out. So it skips the little screen where it shows you what you're buying. And I was just like, fuck it, I'll just get this DLC. Boom, boom. And I was like, "Cool, all right." And Bob's like, "Why'd you just buy Days Gone Remastered?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck. Wait, what?" So I had that in my cart because I was like, "Well, why don't I get the upgrade, right? I have Days Gone. I played Days Gone. I love Days Gone. Amazing game." And I wanted to check out the remaster. And I was like, "Well, why does it still say 50 bucks?" Probably because I have it physical and it's only for the digital version. But I still had it in my cart because I was like, "Oh, maybe if I put it in my cart, it'll turn to 10 bucks." Nope. And it was still in my cart. And it just went right through. And it was like, "Hey, thanks for your order of Days Gone Remastered and the $10 Clair Obscure Deluxe Edition upgrade." And I was like, "Oh shit." So be careful with that. I just have a one-click buy because I don't like putting my password in all the time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Hey, I'm the same way, with you
Yeah.
on that one. That's
Yeah.
your PSA, delete that stuff out. In
Yep.
fact, yeah,
Yep.
that just keep your house clean.
Yeah, exactly. And thankfully, as long as you don't download it and it's been less than 14 days, PlayStation's really cool about it. I chatted them. I said, "Hey, I accidentally bought this. Like, I legitimately accidentally bought this." They're like, "Did you download it? And has it been, when was it?" I was like, "Haven't downloaded it. It was yesterday." And they're like, "Cool, no problem. Refund it. Have a nice day." And I just chatted and it took like 15 minutes. So PlayStation was super cool about it. So if you ever accidentally buy something, just make sure you don't download it. Make sure your auto downloads are off and just chat PlayStation. They'll hook you up.
That's definitely good to know because Lord
Yeah.
knows I've, went to talk to the wife and say, "Hey, honey, I'm gonna buy this game.
Mhm.
I'm really interested in it, and I'm gonna spend my big boy money," and I get it, "Okay, that's fine, I don't care." And then I turn around and find myself, going, "Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I didn't buy the standard, I bought the deluxe edition."
Whoops.
Um
I dude, I didn't even know. You had to point it out to me. You're like, "Uh, did you just buy Days Gone?" I was like, "What?" I wouldn't have known until I went into my collection or recently purchased and be like, "Why the fuck do I own Days Gone Remastered?" So,
It
yeah.
it would have been sitting, especially since your PlayStation's got, like, 20 teraflops of storage in it.
Teraflops. I have 10 terabytes of storage. So, yeah. When the Pro came out, I own the Pro, you own the Pro too. We're both, Pro owners. I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm done doing the storage dance." I got a
Mhm.
4 terabyte M2, to put in the little slot, and then I got a 4 terabyte, external USB 3.2 Samsung T7, all the acronyms, to put my PS4 games on. So yeah, I have, and then the internal storage of the PlayStation is 2 terabytes. So yeah, I have 10 terabytes. I
I
was just
wish.
tired of doing the fucking storage dance, and
I
these games are like 150 gigs now.
You're telling me, you know what I haven't deleted because I refuse to re-download is, Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
If
okay.
anybody that's got it out there knows what I'm talking about, it is a massive game, to
Yeah.
download. And I thought I was spoiled when I upgraded to the Pro, and I went from that 1 terabyte to the 2 terabyte built in. Oh,
Yep. Yeah. The original Pro had, I think, usable 856 or something, and the Pro has like 1.8 terabytes. So it's a little under 10 terabytes just because you need storage for the OS and stuff like that. But
yep.
yeah, Pro is awesome. Love it.
Oh.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about how we play and what we play on. Um, yeah, housekeeping. Housekeeping is like the business stuff, right? The boring stuff. We'll get it out of the way. Uh, so if you didn't know or notice, this podcast is going to be unedited and unfiltered. We're going to pretty much say whatever we want, and we're not going to edit it, and it's going to be unhinged. So, and we're going to drink and we're going to talk video games, and it's going to be like you're just sitting across from us at a brewery or a restaurant, and you're talking games with us.
That's all we're here for. That was the
Yep.
inspiration behind this is
Hmm.
we were sitting, chatting about video games out on a what we call our typical beer night. I
Yep.
had some friends with us, and we realized we got so engrossed in the conversation. I think it was you actually, but it might have been somebody else that said, "Why aren't we recording this?"
Hmm.
And that light bulb moment went off and went, "Aha!
Yep.
We should be recording this."
Yes.
Just
Mm,
Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead. Oh yeah,
Oh,
The only thing I gotta say is the 2 things we will avoid on here, as we're continuing to speak,
Yep.
is the hot button topics are of politics. Don't get me wrong. There might be some, adjacent political conversation, but that's mostly because of, conversation around a specific game or a
Yeah.
news, but you're not gonna get my opinion, you're not gonna get
Mm-mm.
Matt's opinion, and then the other one we just try to avoid is just religion because,
Yeah.
anybody out there knows what I'm talking about. You do not want to be preached to, and that just straight blows up in your face. It's like when you tell a woman, "No, it's okay, honey, just calm down." You never do that.
Yeah, those 2 topics tend to get really heated, and people are very opinionated on it and very passionate about them, and it just don't really end well. So, yeah, politics and religion, we're not really gonna talk about those, but we're gonna talk about everything else, games, life, everything else. So, yeah, once we hit record, that's it. It's basically we're just recording, we're drinking, we're talking video games, and then we're gonna post it for you all to listen. And we wanna hear your thoughts. We wanna hear how we're doing, you know? We have a Discord, in those Discord channels, we have and the golden rule on there is just, treat people like you want to be treated. Don't be an asshole. There's no rules right now. We're like, we don't have to say it, right? We don't have to say what to do and how to act. And I mean, if someone is an asshole, then we'll probably have to start making rules. But until then, we have channels for music, TV shows, all kinds of stuff. Uh, Go ahead.
Right now, our hot one. Don't forget about that. Everybody's talking
Hmm.
about the latest craze of the
Hmm.
Pokemon
Yeah,
cards.
Pokemon. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
created I created a Pokemon channel, and it just popped off, man. I collect the cards. I don't do it as much now, but I was really into it. I mean, I might have an ETB coming in for Destin Rivals,
That
next week.
There you go. See, and I was a MTG Magic the Gathering side of the fence,
Mhm.
and my biggest people talk about their biggest regrets in life. My only regret is when I played, we're talking 1999, so it's still new.
Oh, yeah.
You could get a Black Lotus for about $200 on the market from a
Oh
few
my
people.
god.
I never pulled the trigger because I was more interested in, well, quite frankly, smoking pot and playing video games.
Hell yeah.
Um, and now I look at the price and I go, man, that would be my mortgage and retirement right there.
Mhm.
So when it comes to regrets, that's my biggest financial regret.
Yes, yes. Dude, the Pokemon cards are crazy. Like, I just think of the base booster packs I bought in like the late 90s, 98, 99, 2000 for like $3 at the local store. And those booster packs are going for $500. There's booster boxes, first edition, going for like 200,000. It's nuts.
Do
It's nuts.
you want a YouTube rabbit hole? I brought this on for my kids, or got it from my kids. Is the underground world of Pokemon trading cards.
Mhm.
There's one individual, I'm not going to name names, but who was out there slinging original base booster boxes, and he showed up on a charity stream where they were gonna offer, like, $375,000 for this box, and he shows up, and they're like, "Hey, let's go ahead and rip it right here,"
Oh no.
and it was a fake, and I'm not
Yep.
saying he knew it was a fake, please keep that
Mm.
in mind, but what I am
Yeah.
saying is that creates a drama, and it just I watched that was a YouTube rabbit hole of a couple hours, me standing in the kitchen going, "What is going on?" as I'm making dinner.
Dang. Yeah. Thankfully, since I was 10 years old, I have kept my base set, jungle set, fossil set, and Team Rocket set. And I have the full
Ooh.
sets. All loose, no graded, but I do have the full sets. And 151 actually got me back into it. The 151 set for Scarlet and Violet, they basically released the original 151 as cards. And the cool thing is, they did the Pokedex as the card numbers. So they're all in order. And that just, oh my God, my OCD, it just calms it. Right. So
It
yeah,
k it it kills me on that.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But that got me back into it. And now I'm kind of back into it. I was really back into it like last year. But now I'm kind of like, man, this craze is crazy. Going to the stores, you can't get them. But look at us talking about fucking Pokemon. It rules everything. But yeah, I created a Pokemon channel. created a links channel, the links to all our socials, so you can share it or click it yourself. You follow, like, subscribe. This is all free. We're not no ads or anything. But what helps us and what helps us build the community is liking, subscribe, and tell your friends if you like the podcast. Be like, hey, these two guys are talking games, and we're gonna have guests on the show, so it's not gonna be just us. And if you want to be a guest, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. We know I got a couple of people in our community already. They're
Yep.
chomping at the bit and the opportunity to get on with and bringing conversations and discussions and ideas and thoughts. And that's really
Hmm.
what we're here for: is get that extra seat in here, build a community of like-minded individuals. At least when it comes to a hobby interest, come from all different
Yeah.
backgrounds and places in life. I mean, we're not from the same location. We just happen to be in the same physical location right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Geographically.
You don't have to come here to record. It's all remote. So yeah, if you have something to say, you can come on the podcast and say it. Let us know if you want to be a guest, and we'll talk games, and you can even suggest a main topic. What else? If you have any questions for us, I have a questions little channel. We created a questions channel on the Discord, so we'll probably read some questions and we'll answer them, and you can have your question read on the podcast for everyone to hear. So if you have any questions for us or in general, life stuff, video games, movies, TV shows, anything really, ask it on the questions channel, and we'll read it off on the cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always willing to talk about anything, just because it's pleasant. I'm not normally a hear myself talk kind of guy, but at my age, I've reached the old man age of let me tell you about an experience I had, and I'll tell
Back in
you.
my day.
Back in my day, we only had 151 Pokemon. Now there's over 12,000.
Yeah, shit. Dude, I
Uh,
I finally collected the 1,000th one. It's
oh shit!
Goldango, yeah, and I was like, "Holy shit, I've caught them all." No, I think there's like 1,020 something now, but they hit the four-figure mark.
Eh,
So
at least until the next mainline game comes along, and
exactly.
yeah, just hope
Yeah.
that they do a soft reset like they did last time.
Yes, yes. I've played every mainline game. Pokemon's one of my favorite IPs of all time. Started on Pokemon Red, all the way up to unfortunately, Scarlet and Violet. And I say unfortunately, they are really good games at their core, and I'm very excited for the Switch 2 patch, but they run like absolute garbage. The performance is I sometimes if you're in a very high dense like forest area or a lake with some reflections on it, I shit you not, it goes down to like 15 frames.
Oh, that's
It's bad.
unacceptable.
It's bad. But the core story, the core gameplay, the core mechanics are phenomenal. And they actually added a lot of quality of life. And that's actually one of the games I played on the Switch this year. I I like the game so much, even though it ran like shit. Right, gameplay's king. Performance is second, in my opinion. Your game needs to run well enough to play. I played them back to back. I played Violet and then I played Scarlet, like back to back, 40 hours each. I don't know why.
Because you did it for the same reason that, while I never got into Pokemon, for the exact same reason, I bought every Mega Man Battle Network game out there, because they
Nice.
did that exact same thing,
Yeah.
"We're gonna provide a red and a blue copy, and there's gonna be unique things on each card." So I ended up playing
Mhm.
them through both. I have every edition of every one of those through, like, the first Star Force games. I know there's probably a listener out there right now going, "I know what he's talking about."
Yeah.
But those were my Pokemon, and you did it because you loved the game, and that's what we're here for, is for the love of the game.
That's true. And you gotta catch them all. And yeah. And I'm not just doing the Pokedex, right? You can do the Pokedex, you can get the entry, and then you can trade, get the entry, then trade it back, right? I'm doing the living dex. And if you don't know what that means, so if you have, let's just start basic, right? Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. If you have Charmander and he evolves to Charizard, you get all three Pokedex entries, but you're left with Charizard. No, I'm doing 3 Charmanders, evolving Charmander to Charmeleon and the other Charmander to Charizard to get those 3 entries. Now, this helps with the games that come out, the new games, because you can transfer all of them and get the dex entries. That's where it helps.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that no, that makes sense. I do the same thing, or I was for a while when Pokemon Go was huge. I was doing the same thing when they would have a day event to say,
yeah,
"Hey, we're doing this version of this Pokemon," and it sprouts everywhere.
right.
Me and my kids, we were out there going for the not only the living decks of the base Pokemon that was in that community event, but we were
Mhm.
also hunting for the shiny versions. So then it would be the shinies to upgrade and then evolve them, and then have all 3 different
Yep.
versions of the shinies as well.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the living
unfortunately,
dex.
yeah,
Yeah.
the living we're doing that living decks. Unfortunately, yeah, unless you want to spend thousands of dollars, you can't really do that in Pokemon Go.
No, no, Pokemon Go is interesting. I don't play Pokemon Go. I played it on launch, but yeah. Pokemon's gonna take over the fucking world, and it's taking over this podcast now, and it's taken over our Discord, and we both love Pokemon. I think yeah, I love the video games mainly, collect the cards every once in a while. But, speaking of Switch and Nintendo, eh,
I see what you did there. That's what we call a
yeah,
transition piece, folks.
that's the segue. Uh, Switch 2. The pre-orders went live, and we had a little Discord party for it.
Yeah, we did. It was me, you, and I want to say, don't quote me on this. I had a couple of beers, but I want to say 5 or 6 people in the call as well.
Handful of people. Shout out to everyone that was there. And guess what? Everyone in that Discord party got a Switch 2 pre-ordered. We were communicating. The hardest place to get it was Best Buy, and they actually went live 30 minutes after the official go live hour. And yeah, Best Buy was the hardest. Target was probably the second hardest. Walmart came in clutch, dude. And we were all wondering, like, are they going to cancel these pre-orders? Because Walmart at one point you could just get them.
You know what's funny is I asked my wife about that later, because
Hmm.
she works for Sam's Club,
Nice.
sister company of Walmart, and she explained to me
Yeah.
what Walmart's been doing with the Pokemon cards, bringing this all full circle back. Is
No.
so let's say Paldean Fates or the Switch 2 is announced and they go to do
Sure.
pre-orders. They'll do them in batches. So if you have
Okay.
10,000 units, they'll do 2,000 units in the first pre-order
Yeah.
batch, and then they wait till they'll sell out, and then they drop the queues. So then
Okay.
people have to actively go back into the queues to get the
Right.
next wave or batch of the product, and, that's actually really smart when I thought about it. I'm like, "That's a 4D chess, trying
Hmm.
to fight the scalping game, and all of
Hmm.
these bots out there." I think that's why Best Buy also started a little bit later, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think Best Buy was combating bots for sure with the pre-orders, but we actually both got ours at the hardest place to get. And Bob, he was the very first one to get it. So
Yep.
congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It was right away. I mean, for the folks out there, the Switch 2 party and pre-launch or pre-ordering event was not something that I was actively looking for a Switch 2.
Right.
It was I wanted to hang out and drink beer with some people and to hear the stories. It was the closest thing we're getting to a midnight launch in a while, or in
Right.
a long time. And just happened to jump onto Best Buy. I knew I had that awesome credit card, so I could slowly pay it off. And I told myself,
Mhm.
well, I'm not going to push too hard, but if it does come around, maybe there will be an opportunity. And it just happened to be as soon as you get into the queue, everybody's sweating. Oh, we're in queue. We're in queue. Not even 5 minutes later, I'm looking at it, and they're like, "Hey, here's your order. Would you like to
Yep.
go ahead and put in your information?" And it's like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And I had no, there's no way it's gonna work that quickly. You get kicked out of these queues and the
Oh,
payment
yeah.
processes. Nope. Put in that payment information, put in that pickup information, and then within 2 minutes after that, boom, checked out. Here's your pre-order. We'll see you in June. And I realized that was the universe speaking to me saying, "No, Bob, you absolutely need to get that Switch too. You've been a Nintendo fan since 1985. There's no way you're going back now."
Hell yeah. And it's funny when you're not looking for something, that's when it typically tends to come your way, right?
Yeah, I felt a little scared for some of the, other call members, waiting 30 minutes before they finally got through.
Yeah.
Um, I never forgot to ask, so did you end up with, just, one pre-order, or did you manage to get, more than one?
No, I just had one pre-order. I don't think I needed a backup. When he asked this because when I got the PS5, I ordered 5 just in case to make sure I got one, and that was because I think the last one I got was on Best Buy. Best Buy is kind of like the lock-in, right? But I did get all 5 of. I got 2 from GameStop, 1 from Walmart, and this is the PS5.
Mhm.
1 from Amazon and 1 from Best Buy. Now, granted, I didn't resell any of these, and I actually uh, enabled you to get one, and I sold the other 3 because I kept 2, one for the upstairs and one for the downstairs because I'm crazy like that. I sold the other 3 at MSRP, exactly what I bought them for some of my friends that couldn't get it, and you being one of them.
Yeah, you came in clutch, man.
Yeah,
It's that was the this was the era of my wife actively hunting. She loves to do this stuff. I love her to death. So if I say I'm going to put my bloodhound on it, she will go and look and search the ends of the earth. Even she couldn't get her hands on a PS5. So
yeah, those
when
were
you popped
tough.
up, yeah, when you popped up and said, "Hey, MSRP," I was like, "Okay, I guess we're going to go ahead and do this." And it lived a good
Yeah.
life. It's still out there. I
Oh yeah.
don't want to preface it's a base unit, but when the Pro hit and made some upgrades, it's now with my one of my kids who's been rocking it out and doing things like some Red Dead Redemption 2 and Overwatch, and we'll see where it goes. But eventually, one day we'll retire and sit up on a shelf and display of the memories and an homage to the man who came in clutch that year.
Heck yeah. I'm happy I could help. But yeah, we all got Switch 2s. I so with Nintendo consoles, it it's really always been since the Wii. It has been my secondary console, and it's always been the box that plays the first party games. Right? I don't really. I haven't played a third party game on the Switch in years, and I the only reason I got one on launch I'm not too excited for Mario Kart, I gotta say. It's PvP, and I'm not really into PvP. I love racing games, but I'm not into PvP anymore, really. I'm excited to check it out. The one game I'm super pumped for, and the system seller in my eyes, is Metroid Prime 4, right? That's why I got this console. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, amazing, looks incredible. The one I'm most excited for is Metroid Prime 4. And, I am affiliated with Metroid Database, and we did a reaction video on it, and I stream for them. And I'm a huge Metroid fan, and it's still kind of like a cult following. Metroid.
It is, it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's probably the system seller for me as well.
Hmm.
It, for anybody that's not familiar out there, for the or younger crowd or uninitiated, Metroid is actually alive because of people like you and I over here in the
Yes.
West. Metroid was not a fun game for the Japanese people, which is funny.
Mm-mm.
In the Japanese market, I apologize. I don't mean to sound inconsiderate, but and it's funny because they threw shade at us for years about RPGs and Final Fantasies too wild for the American child, and it's too hard for us. And then I could go on a diatribe about that all day long. But you're right. I'm looking forward to it. Metroid Prime. Um,
Yeah,
that is one of those. And I'm sorry, I gotta say it is a first person shooter. I'm sorry,
it is.
and it is an amazing series. I'm all those trailers, man. Oh,
Yeah, and I recently went through Metroid Prime Remastered. I actually went through that back to back because I loved it so much, and I wanted to finally complete it on hard, which is really, really hard.
ooh, that is an
And very
achievement.
challenging. Yeah, yeah, very challenging. But I unlocked all the art and everything just cuz there's no trophies in that game.
Uh,
It's
uh,
all the achievements and the trophies and the awards are locked within that card, and no one will ever know. But
Yep,
yeah, I did.
that's what I was saying. It's an achievement, but you don't get a trophy for it. Thanks, Nintendo.
Exactly. Right, right. I really wish they'd, do achievements or something like that, but they aren't gonna do it. Yeah, I streamed Zero Mission last year, and I'm going to be streaming Metroid Fusion for Metroid Database this year. But I'm a huge Metroid fan, so that is my system seller. I was able to get it on launch. Uh, Shout out to the Best Buy credit card.
Came in clutch this year. Oh man,
Yeah.
let me tell you, you're
Yeah.
right there with me. That anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, you don't have to have the perfect credit in the world, but you can get a Best Buy credit card, and one of those perks that are huge and beneficial is you can pay that no interest for the first 12, or depending on what you're looking at, product even up to
Hmm.
24 months. So as long as you're smart about it, you go okay. It's kind of like an old little school layaway system.
Yeah.
I'd hate to date myself or carbon date myself with this, but you know what I mean, where you just
Yep.
pay it off and you set aside $50 a month or whatever, or every a week or whatever that looks like, and then you just pay it off over time. Oh man, that was
Yeah.
the only reason I came in on that,
Yeah.
because it was the only way I could do it without getting yelled at by the wife.
Right, right. Exactly. And the key point to that is be responsible and pay off your shit, right? I have a lot of credit cards. I utilize credit and I haven't paid interest in the last 15 years. Credit cards are an amazing tool. As long as you use them properly, yeah, Best Buy, anything you purchase, you can, depending on the amount, you can do 1 year, no interest, same as cash, basically. You don't have to pay any interest. So if I buy the Switch now or in, I don't know, 4 months, it's the same exact price. So yeah, the Best Buy credit card is super clutch, and you just bought a TV on it, and it's like you don't have to pay interest. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, shout out to that TV, by the way. Shout out
Yeah.
shout out to the people that
Tell everyone what
recommended
you
it.
got.
All right, so definitely with the Sony. We went definitely with
Yeah,
the
you did.
OLED. Previous year model, and I'm telling you folks, it's like car shopping. Right now on the OLED market, that's the 95K.
Yep.
Yeah, A95K. I'm telling you, that TV is a game changer. I went from, and don't get me wrong, TVs are cheap nowadays. You can get a good 4K TV for a couple of $100, but you can't get an OLED with VRR
Mm.
capabilities and just the sound that systems that are built into them nowadays have
Yeah.
upgraded so substantially. Um, I'm telling you, it just I sit back in awe, and I'm just going absolute cinema every
Yep.
time.
Exactly. And the panel enhances the experience so much. It enhances every single pixel on every single video game and every single movie. I'm a big panel technology person. I know a lot about them. I do a lot of research. I have a Sony panel as well. We'll probably get into that before we get into the games we're playing on what we play and how we play. But yeah, the Sony TVs are fucking awesome, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Especially
funny you mentioned,
OLEDs.
yeah, especially those OLEDs. It's funny you mentioned that, not trolling, but perusing Reddit, and you go to the PlayStation
Mhm.
subpage, and you see people that finally get their PS5, and I'm happy for them because not everybody can have, we live in a world of privilege at this point,
Yes,
with where we're at, and I totally understand. Some people are budget gamers. Lord knows I've been there myself,
of course, me
over the
too.
years. But, you see, somebody proposed the question, actually it came up twice this week, and I had to help them out because they asked about wanting to get the pro and was it worth it? And everybody told them different variations of opinions and stuff. And I had to stop and I said, guys, you need to think about the pro is really nice, but you need the good panel to support it. Because
Yeah,
if you do not have the ability to do VRR and some of those other stuff that'll support PSSR and oh my goodness, anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about on the technical terms, basically you can take your PlayStation 5 and it's capable of doing 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, but if you don't have the tires to support that, you're not doing yourself justice, and that's exactly the same thing. The panel is key. The PlayStation 5 just outputs the power. The panel has to be able to handle that power, and if you can't, you're kind of gimping yourself, and it's not worth, in my opinion, it's not worth setting up the extra $200. Just get a PlayStation 5 and be okay with it because it's still a great system.
yeah, absolutely. The panel is the window into all your content, really, and OLEDs, light emitting pixels is where it's at. Yeah, the Pro has been just fantastic. It is expensive, and I say expensive. I don't say overpriced. It is expensive, and it's expensive for us, not overpriced, because we utilize it. and we get value out of that product. Just like the Switch. The Switch is $500. The bundle. I got the bundle because I wasn't. I wanted to get Mario Kart for that price, and I figured why not have it baked in. Whatever, fire it up on launch night. And we actually did a launch, a pickup, store pickup. We're going to be there at midnight because Best Buy is doing a midnight launch. So we're going to have a little launch party. We're probably going to get some Torchies, best tacos around. And it's right by Best Buy. So we're going to line up and maybe just hang out and talk games with other people that bought the Switch. So
Yeah, do
yeah,
an old school sleepover, hanging out with a buddy who's gonna do the video games. Um,
exactly.
the real question is, what's the first game you're gonna play on there? Because I know you're not a Mario Kart guy.
No, no. I was a Mario Kart guy. I loved Double Dash. Played the shit out of Double Dash. I played some PvP stuff. I was huge into Smash Brothers, but I kind of just fell out of it, you know. Especially when I moved away from my hometown, and the online just sucked on the Switch on Smash Brothers Ultimate, and it's just bad. So I think the first game I'm going to fire up. I put this game down because of how poorly it ran on the original Switch, and it is getting a patch for the Switch 2, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
choice.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I begrudgingly said, "No, I will not, kneel to the 2016 Android tablet that is the original Switch." Shout out, by the
Yeah.
way, I love that console.
Oh
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, that was it's a great game, and I look forward to seeing what it can do on the new Switch too. If you're There are 2 types of camps now in my mind of, Zelda fans. There are those that played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and think those are peak gaming, and then there's the other camp of old school, people like me, who truly believe in experience like Ocarina of Time or
Yeah,
Link to the
and me.
Past. Those are where it's at, and that's what Echoes of Wisdom is. But with Zelda, man,
Okay.
I
Beautiful.
I don't know how far did you get on that?
No spoilers, but there's a water level. Oh, shocker in a Zelda game.
Right?
Um, but the when I got to the big water level, it just started tanking the frame rate, and I was like, it. And so I can deal with low frame rate, right? I can deal with 30 frames, even if it dips every once in a while. But dude, this game dynamically goes from 60 to 30 while you're playing it constantly, and it's jarring, and it's honestly it makes you a little sick.
You're right, but I can power through that, and I think
Mm.
the reason for that, I started thinking after we chatted, and you put it down, I was like,
Yeah.
"Why is it that I can go through this?" I know some people claim they can't see frame rates, they're liars, I'm sorry. You can definitely tell the difference between 30 and 60 if I put them side
Oh
by
yeah.
side, and
Yeah.
then I thought about, some of the great games of the past, and, Super FX Chip did a lot, but it only did so much for the original Star Fox. If
Right.
anybody here old enough or has played that game knows what I mean. You'll go from 30 frames to like 5 as you're doing a barrel roll and trying to get inside of an arch and then shooting
That's jarring.
at an enemy. It's jarring, but guess what? Nobody cared because it was mind blowing at the time.
Of course.
Unfortunately, Echoes of Wisdom, while it does have Zelda, spoiler, you can play. That's what you do is you play as Zelda. Sorry, I
Yeah, that
said
was
that.
in the teaser trailer.
Yeah, that was sarcastic. It's on the freaking
Right.
cover art. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Uh, but it it doesn't it brings extra things to the table, but it's not that pop and transition that we had with like a Star Fox doing an on rail shooter in the sky, or what you saw when you first saw Mario in 3D. It's unique, but it's not. Oh my gosh, this is just blowing my imagination. I can't believe they did this kind of a situation, and I think that's
Yeah.
why it struggles.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm excited to go back to the traditional Zelda, have the dungeons and everything. Tears had dungeons, uh, and Breath had many dungeons, I guess. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time. I mean, Twilight Princess is probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm a huge Zelda fan. So it hurt me to put down Echoes. It really did. But I knew the Switch 2 was coming. The Switch 2 has been, teased and leaked for months. And I was like, I feel like they're going to patch this because one, if it has dynamic frame rate, I feel like the devs unlocked the frame rate so it would run at a pretty smooth, consistent 60 on the new hardware. And I think I was right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm with you though.
Yeah.
The very first game, I'm telling you right now, folks, the very first game I'm firing up, I've got it in my on my wall behind me of games is going to be that Hyrule Warriors
Nice. Yep.
Age of Calamity.
Yep.
For frame of reference, I played the original Hyrule Warriors. I played the original Hyrule Warriors. I played the definitive edition on both the Switch and 3DS.
Damn.
I dropped over 750 hours into the original Hyrule Warriors
Damn.
into the definitive edition because I went through every one of those maps, and I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Somebody out there will, where you're doing these adventure maps, and each the map is like in a grid. So
Yeah.
A1, A2, so on and so forth, and each one of them has a different battle, and each one of those battles have little different mechanics and things of that nature that come along. Well, eventually, it's like when you in a video game where you have to start beat the mission the first time, but then you like a Lego mission where you have to use certain characters, then
Yeah.
you can replay it with anybody else.
Ah, okay.
You then get a score at the end of it, and that score provides rewards and benefits, and you go
Right.
from D to A. I went through every one of the adventure maps and got A rank on each individual grid square, and I'm
Wow.
telling you right now, you go from the original Legend of Zelda all the way through down the timeline through, like, spirit tracks along the way, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of battles and level ups and, uh, uh, so in yeah, huge
I
Warriors
respect
fan.
it.
Yeah.
I respect it. Completionist. Awesome.
It scratched my brain. So,
Yeah.
Age of Calamity, was my excitement when it came out on the Switch, back in 2020, and then it fell flat on its face because you can't play a Hyrule Warriors game when it does like, you do with Echoes of Wisdom, where you go from 60 frames to 10 frames.
Oh yeah, that game's probably worse at it when it's high octane, fast combat. I mean, Echoes of Wisdom has combat, but it's nothing like a Musou game.
A Musou game, and it's like, "Why can't I kill people? I need to kill them faster." Oh, wait,
Right.
that's right, they're not spawning into the game fast enough because the Switch is overheating at the temperature of the sun.
Yep. Yep. So I'm very excited for the Switch 2. Magnets excite me very much. The design is amazing. Let's be honest. The first game we're playing is that Welcome Tour game. We're going to pay $10 for the tutorial game, aren't we?
Speak for yourself.
No.
I
Zelda will break
Astrobot
me.
was free. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Astrobot. Oh, so good. Yeah, we got Switch 2s. We're rocking and ready for the midnight release in a couple months, or actually like a month, May, June, right? June 5th or something like that.
June 5th, June
Yeah,
6th.
then yeah,
Great timing because anybody that's paying attention, June 6th is Summer Games Fest, so, we'll
it
be eating
is.
good that first week of June.
Yeah, we will. So we're gonna have our Switches and then we're gonna watch Summer Games Fest. We'll probably do a prediction episode for Summer Games Fest, and then a post episode of what we thought of Summer Games Fest. Last year's Summer Games Fest was pretty awesome. But yeah, they're kind of back to back. You get the Switch 2 release and then Summer Games Fest. So
Mhm.
very exciting. Very exciting.
I just have one
That
concern. Oh,
what's that?
I have one concern with Summer Games Fest. I'll put it out there now in the wild. I got a feeling a certain GTA is gonna steal the spotlight, and I'm kinda sad inside. Um,
Yeah. So those are our opinions on GTA are very they're not popular because neither one of us is probably getting GTA. I personally like fantasy in my game. I like fiction and I like magic and dragons and space. Uh, GTA was never my thing. It's not for me. It's not that it's a bad game in any means, but yeah, I never got into the Rockstar games. Never got into Red Dead. It's just not for me, and that is a very unpopular opinion that everyone's gonna be like, "What?"
no Red Dead? Are you serious? I hear the
Yeah,
pitchforks coming for you
yeah,
already.
yeah. Hey, man, I'll say it. I'll stand on the mountain and say it. It's not a bad game. I'm not calling it a bad game. It's a technical marvel for its time, and I'm sure we'll see it on the Switch too, and they'll re-release it. They'll be like, "Oh, it's Red Dead 2, uh, Rootin' Tootin' edition
Yeah.
for the Switch 2. Look at this new game." Um, that is one thing the Switch 2 is gonna do. They're gonna re-release, and that's cool, right? It's cool for everyone else, but they're gonna re-release PS4 and Xbox One games like with new additions, and they're probably gonna be the same price as they were released, and even worse, they're gonna be key games. And you know what I mean when I say key games.
They get you. They get you. I'm telling you, folks, when the Switch One came out, there were only a couple of games. So get me wrong, there was one big one at launch, but there were
Sure.
only a handful of games that really came along. So I'm one of those victims. I'm part of the problem. I admit it. I ponied
Mhm.
up the $50 and I gave Todd Howard my money again just because I wanted to run around in Skyrim dressed
Yep.
as Link, beating people with the Master Sword and then using the Master Shield or the Hylian Shield.
Right, right. But yeah, they're gonna re-release all these PS4 games. Awesome for people that haven't played them. Man, you're gonna be eating so good with probably all these. I'd say first party PS4 games we're gonna see for the Switch 2 eventually, and even the third party. Like you're getting Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, dude, incredible game. But we have played these games already. We played them 10 years ago on the PS4. Incredible games. And but these third party games coming out re-released for the Switch 2, not for us. Not for us.
Absolutely not. I will say the one thing I'm looking forward to is these PlayStation first party games coming over
Mhm.
to Switch 2, simply because you know you're gonna get it in some kind
Yeah.
of Nintendo edit where they've got that high pitched voice, as you sit there and like, "Listen to Ellie as she travels across the plains looking for revenge." I'm waiting for it, dude.
Right.
J
Follow Joel as
Join
Jeez.
Kratos on this.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, man.
Right. Welcome to the uncharted universe where Nathan Drake kills almost an entire army of soldiers.
I'm waiting for it,
Oh,
dude.
shit.
That was so wild seeing that on
Yeah.
the Lego Horizon.
Mhm. Yeah, we got a
Join
first.
Aloy.
Yep, yep. Still haven't played it. I'm a huge Lego fan game. I'm a huge Horizon game. I'm a huge Horizon fan. They took out mini kits, and I can't get past that.
Yeah, everything I heard, they kinda stripped out a lot of what was part of a Lego game.
Yeah.
A Lego game is you pick your poison or drug of choice or whatever it is, and you sit on the couch and you just roam for 2 hours as you
Mhm.
collect mini kits or you unlock new characters. Excuse me, whatever that looks like. That's what
Yep.
you do in a Lego game.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it sounds like they took a lot of it. It's very linear. I might get to it one day because I love Horizon. I love Lego, but
Mhm.
it doesn't
Be
seem
fun
it's
co-op.
yeah. I look at a Horizon Lego, Adventures as Lego Horizon Adventures as you ever seen the, movie, from back in the day, about called Heavyweights?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think of that
90s
scene at
movie.
yeah, real '90s movie. Somebody out here screaming in their, car right now, going, "I know what you're talking about," with Ben
Yeah.
Stiller. There's that scene when they finally break the camp and they, tie up all of the counselors and rebel as the kids, and
Mhm.
then they all party till their heart's desire, and they wake up the next morning all quote unquote hungover, and the adult walks in and says, "What did you learn?" And that one kid in the back just goes, "Never put Twinkies on your pizza." That's Horizon and Lego. It sounds
Right.
really good, but you don't mix them together because, you end up with a atrocious result that's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. I have a Horizon Lego, in-person figure. I have the tall neck behind me. And it was just a huge missed opportunity to take out mini kits. Mini kits are, you go through the level and you collect little collectibles that culminate into building a Lego figure that's usually part of the universe. Like in Lego Batman or Lego Star Wars, you could build a little X-Wing if you collected 10 minifigures of each uh, on each level. And it was awesome. And I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to collect the machines." Like it's an incredible opportunity to have the machines as minifigs. Nope, they took out minifigs, and I'm like, "Well, fuck,
I
it
and tha
sucks."
and that's really sad because the minifigs collecting they gave you, like, the old Smash Brothers trophies where you could
Yeah,
get information on it and its
exactly.
lore and,
You could use some of them too in Star Wars. You could like fly them around.
oh, really? I don't know if I
Yeah,
got
Lego
that
Star
far.
Wars. Yeah, even
Yeah.
in Skywalker Saga, if you collect the mini kits, you can use them and fly around in them.
Oh, Skywalker
Mhm.
Saga. I'll get
Oh,
you one. I'll
great.
get that platinum someday.
Yeah, that's one of the games I'm gonna be talking about.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
Speaking of first party PlayStation, we kind of like segued into the news. So we're in the news now. And we kind of have some catching up to do because the last episode we released was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's like the test episode, but we're on the first episode and we're going to do it weekly. And we're targeting Thursdays. Okay. We're targeting Thursdays at 4 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Eastern. Okay. You're going to wake up to the podcast on Thursdays. The length of the podcast, I don't know. We're going to target 2-ish hours, but if we aren't tired of talking about games, we're going to keep talking about them. So we'll talk as much as we want, and the podcast length will be as long as it's going to be. So we're going to target around 2-ish hours. That could be 2 hours and 1 minute or 2 hours and 59 minutes. And if we go over, oh well. Break it up throughout the week and listen to it. I listen to a 4-hour podcast. We both do.
Yeah, absolutely. This is about conversation, and you do not say, "Hey, we're going to meet for beer, and we're going to be here between 6 and 8." No,
Exactly.
you just drink until finally somebody says, well, I think I should probably leave."
Well,
Well, Midwest, middle-aged man, where you put your hands
hmm.
down on your knees and you go, "Well, I think it's about time for me to leave," and then you
Yep.
spend 20 minutes saying goodbye.
Yep. The official Midwest goodbye. Yeah. So news, first party PlayStation, Ghosts of Yotai got a release date, and it is October 2nd. I'm not looking at it. I think it's October 2nd. Verify that for me, will you?
Yeah, you're
And
absolutely right.
yeah, yeah. So Ghosts of Yotai, the sequel to Ghosts of Tsushima, incredible fucking game. Released on the PS4. There's a remaster director's cut on the PS5. That sequel finally got a release date, October 2nd. And that pushed the Borderlands 4 release date up. So the Borderlands 4 release date got pushed up today on the eve of the event, which we're fresh off of, which we're going to talk all about. And that release date for Borderlands 4 is going to be September 12th.
You're making me do all of this fact
I
checking
know,
for you.
I know. I have one notes up and I don't have my video game release notes up. So it's mid-September, September
No,
12th.
you're absolutely right.
Nailed it. Cool.
Nailed it.
So those two games, one got a release date, one got pushed. Here's why I think this happened. So who makes Borderlands? Who publishes it?
The one person that's eating good this year, 2K, my
Uh-huh.
friend.
Uh-huh. And who is backing it kind of? So PlayStation's backing Borderlands. We just got a official little 20-minute event held by PlayStation. It was at their last event. They are kind of putting or backing this Borderlands 4, and they moved Ghost, and they moved Borderlands, and they announced the release date of Ghost. I think they know the release date of Grand Theft Auto.
I think you're right. I have a couple of spinning theories in my head. We'll
Mhm.
find out come June. Because if you push up, so they pushed up Borderlands 4
Borderlands.
and they
Yep.
moved Ghost.
Yep.
That's when you look at it, that's about a month,
Mhm.
which gives you some room to breathe.
Yeah.
But when we look at those, I've got my own theories. We'll leave it like that because if you look at the
Let's hear
calendar,
them.
all right. So if you look at that calendar, there's a month that's conspicuously
Sure
sitting
is.
in the middle of a vacation period. It's also no major releases because we're going to get Death Stranding 2 in June. And then we don't get anything. I'm not saying we don't get anything, but we don't get major releases until August, going into September, going into October. We haven't heard about November or December. It's possible GTA 6 hits then. But you're
Mhm.
hearing it first before Summer Games Fest. I think 2K is gonna do a short drop, and they're gonna drop GTA 6 in July right in the middle of school summer break, so
Mm.
all of those kids go out and they spend their entire life they're so what I really think this is the case is I think 2K knows the position they're in. I mean, anybody that who hasn't been paying attention to the video games market, GTA 5 is Just absolutely. They're the old school Blizzard at this point. They've got so much money from GTA Online and GTA 5 that they're swimming in a mountain of money. And they know, and they're not playing stupid. They've been quiet. I think they're going to give us a short drop, and it's going to hit in July. If I had to guess, probably early July, maybe mid July. Um,
True.
but the only concern I have with that theory is June 26th, I believe, is Death Stranding 2. And
Yeah.
that would be a bump up next to Kojima, and, I think 2K respects that man enough not to do that to him, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, 2K is the arm of Take-Two, which is affiliated with Rockstar, which is the developer of Grand Theft Auto. So I think PlayStation's gotta know the release date, right?
Oh, they absolutely do. They're just being coy about the entire thing.
Yeah.
The I think you're right, though. Fact they
I
push.
think they're kind of showing us, like, they're showing their hand a little bit, and they're moving things out of the way. GTA is gonna be huge. No matter if we like it or not, it's gonna be massive, and it's probably gonna be amazing. And it's set in Florida, it's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just gonna be the Fortnite of single player games. I'm sorry, GTA Online. But when it comes to non-Fortnites, that's
Right.
just gonna eat up so much of the market. From a pure analyst standpoint, I'm just curious. I wanna see what happens. It's like watching your drunk uncle mess with fireworks on the 4th of July. You know it's gonna be it's not for you, but you know it's gonna be amazing to watch.
It's awesome. I love I love your analogies. They're awesome. Yeah, so Ghosts of Yotei had a trailer, looks cool. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I like staying dark on this stuff. But it's a revenge story. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be the best portrayal of this specific revenge story, which Assassin's Creed Shadows kinda did too. Uh, but it's sucker punch. They're gonna hit it out of the park.
They've never given us a reason to doubt them.
Exactly.
And until they do, I will be on board for it. I'm gonna shoot for day one, especially now that it's been
Oh,
pushed
yeah.
back. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest, it's the follow-up to, quite frankly, my game of the year that year.
Same here. I was just about to say it was my game of the year that year. Ghost of Tsushima was incredible. It redefined the exploration in games. No waypoints. You just follow the wind. Just
It's
and animals. Wind and
yeah,
animals.
that's how you do environmental storytelling.
Yep.
Right there, and, what's great is that came out of nowhere, for
Yeah.
me. That was a year anybody can go look and see what that year was, and, the other games that came out that year.
Ghost, I think it was 2019. 2020
Yeah,
or 2019.
2020.
Yeah.
Um, and I only know that, just because, when I'm looking at it, is July of 2020. You know what else came out that year, right?
Death Stranding. No, that was 2019. 2020, the PlayStation 5?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There was a well, I mean, there was a few other games, that hit the market at that time, but it was so late in the year for me. I remember it being later, and I was kinda in a I'm sorry, what was your
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of everything stuff that came out in 2020.
um, the
Remake
thing
came out in 2019. Doom
I'll gi
Eternal
I'll
2019, right?
I'll give you a hint.
What?
It was a month before Ghost.
Oh man, it's like 6 years ago. Give me another
Uh,
hint.
we'll see that it recently has a show going on.
Last of Us Part 2.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll talk about
Incredible
that.
game. Loved it.
Yeah. We'll get there
I
someday
can't
when I
wait
tell
to
you
hear
my
your thoughts on it.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get my thoughts someday about it. And I
Yeah.
say that to anybody that's listening out there is because I have not finished it. We'll get into the whys and hows and all of that
Sure.
stuff. But Last of Us Part Two, I got a little into it. I put it down, and I was in that moment because I cleared the calendar, and I went, "Well, now what I'm supposed to play?" And I sat around for a couple of weeks hitting the backlog, and then Ghost hit. And oh man, Yote looks I'm sorry, that the game looks amazing.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch has never failed, in my opinion, and,
Mhm.
this one continues to show that they have no reason to get my doubts. They've got my full
Agreed.
set of confidence.
Yeah, agreed. I'm very excited for this game, and I think it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be incredible. Uh, yeah. Let's see what else. We got a PlayStation 5 update, a really cool one. Uh, So you have, or it's coming. We either got it or it's coming. I don't know.
It's
But
already out.
yeah, that's what I thought. You can, for the 30th anniversary, a couple months ago, for PlayStation's 30th anniversary, you could pick themes based on older consoles. So PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it had the look and the feel and the sounds. It also had the PlayStation 1 startup, which was awesome. That isn't coming back. But all of those they pulled those. They were limited, but now they've announced, hey, they're coming back. You can apply them whenever you want, however you want, whenever you choose. So that's cool. And we both decided we're going to do the PlayStation 2 one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard some people say that PlayStation 3 is the sound where you could go through the menu because that's when you get the cross media bar, and I get that argument.
Yep.
But I was not a kid who had unlimited funds, so I only had so much memory card space, and
Oh, me
I
too.
yeah, and I went through those PlayStation 2 menus so many times. You hear
Mhm.
that little "doot, doot, doot" as you're
Dude, it's super nostalgic, and hell, in the intro of our podcast is the PS1 startup, which is the GOAT.
It is, and I will say for anybody, or I will say that the one thing that I really regret about this, I'm sad about this update, is the fact that the PlayStation 1 startup sound is not included. They made that
Right.
unique to that 30th anniversary.
They did.
Makes me sad, but I also understand.
Yep.
With whatever the ultra high definition TVs that we have nowadays, sometimes and then of course you have your media bar, or at least I do. You have media bar, so the inputs take a few seconds to finally kick in, and you get all the settings in place when you first start up.
Mhm.
So I missed the PlayStation startup several times, and the only reason I ever got to see it is because I purposely nerfed my display just to hear it. And I
Yep.
restarted my PlayStation a couple of times just to hear that
Yep, you gotta
startup
turn off
sound.
HDR because the
Yep.
flicker, the panel is recognizing the HDR is enabled, and anytime you load up a game that's HDR that you're not currently using HDR and your panel kind of flickers or goes blank, it's the panel recognizing that HDR is being enabled, and they haven't really got it to where it just is seamless, and VRR is worst. So HDR, for those of you that don't know the acronyms, there's a ton of acronyms in technology, and we should probably explain these. HDR is high dynamic range. It gives you just a range of colors. And then VRR is variable. Let me think. Rate refresh, variable rate refresh.
No,
Variable refresh rate.
there you
Shit.
go. You got it.
Variable refresh rate. That gives you variable frames depending on the content, and it allows you to go up to a huge amount of frames or a low amount of frames depending on what's on the screen. And yeah,
Yeah, and don't be confused. When we say variable refresh rate, it you will not get that stuttering
mm-mm,
that you get with like an Echoes of Wisdom. Um,
right.
it, the game kind of is able to buffer that those rates, so you'll get a pretty seamless transition,
Oh
or
yeah,
a seamless gameplay.
yeah, in VRR, that's the main reason it fluctuates the frame rate, but it does it without you noticing. Like in Echoes, it just drops it to fucking 30 from 60.
And
So
then you watch your Switch start to smoke out the back.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Sorry, I was bringing PSN profiles up. That's why I brain farted on VRR. I know what VRR means. Don't worry. Yeah, variable
Right.
refresh rate. So yeah, if your TV goes blank, that's what it's doing. It's activating HDR or VRR. Thankfully, the PS5 you can always turn HDR on the home screen now, so it doesn't have to do that all the time. But if your game supports VRR, it's gonna have to gauge uh, that if it's on or not, and it'll go blank. So,
Yeah.
yep. Uh, so yeah, if you had that software and you activate or you restarted your PS5 and HDR was on, you may have missed the startup, and that's what Bob was talking about.
Yep.
So
Um,
we are getting those back, which is awesome.
for anybody that's nostalgic out there, you got to go and PlayStation put out their guide on it, but it's a quick menu option. My only regret is how long it took for them to finally implement this, just like they did with
Yeah.
the what is it, the beep during startup. being able to change that.
Right.
It only took them 4 years of listening to husbands getting berated by their wives. "What are you
Yep.
doing, honey?"
I love those memes. They're so funny.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, you know what? You've seen that online.
Mhm. Yep. So, yeah, we're getting those back. Let's see. Marathon got an alpha. I watched a little bit of that. Shout out to my friend that has Marathon and is running the alpha. He streamed it. It looks really cool. It's not for me. It's never been for me. It's PvP. It's a extraction shooter. The art style looks incredible. The gameplay looks super smooth. It's Bungie. It's technically PlayStation first party now. I drafted it on our draft, which we can talk a little bit about later. The draft we have going on. Uh, I believe in it, and from what I saw, I think it's going to deliver. And it's basically, I saw a ton of Halo, I saw a ton of Destiny in there, and I saw the original Marathon. And I think it's an amalgamation and a combination of all of Bungie's most popular IPs, and I think they have a winner here. And they're doing an alpha, they're doing a beta, they're doing it right. I haven't personally played it. From what I saw and what I heard, my friend that played it, he loves it, and I think it's going to do really well. And the alpha was live or is live still, but and they're modifying it, so they have hooks everywhere. I think it's a new engine because Destiny's engine was so broke and old. I think they codenamed it Tiger, but they are changing things on the fly, like tweaking little gameplay mechanics without patches or anything. So there's hooks everywhere, and they've been tweaking little gameplay elements and just the smallest things from player feedback and from what they're seeing, the data that they're getting in from the alpha, which is really cool.
No, that's awesome. When it comes to these online games, I guess I'm very hit or miss. There are still some games online that I like to play, just because there's a certain sense of nostalgia. But the art style that comes in with this game and the prestige that comes with the studio, I totally understand. It might not necessarily be the same individuals, but watching that trailer, it looks fun to play. It's even it may be a very niche of a very niche genre of game, but
Mhm.
extraction shooters is something that I think is prime and ready to be taken advantage of by a big name, similar to what Riot did with League of Legends in the MOBA scene and kind of stole it from Dota. I know there's probably somebody screaming about that right now, but um, my only concern with Marathon is it might actually be entertaining enough to get me sucked in, and
Mm.
that's not something with the current state of release schedules this year, that's not something I can afford. Just getting stuck into another 350 hours of online, listening to people call me, call my mother a bunch of names. Um, yeah,
It's the
that's
experience, man.
Oh, it is. Kids nowadays would never understand what a COD lobby was like,
Right.
or even from back in my where before when it was a classic Team Fortress. Oh my goodness, the things that were said. The FBI is probably looking for some of us.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of Bungie. I mean, Destiny is my most played game of all time, and it'll probably remain that way because I've had probably 3,000 hours across Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 for PS4, Destiny 2 for PS5. Have both the platinums, 100% of them both. Loved Destiny, played it for 10 years. It ended with the final shape for me. It's still going. If you love Destiny, shout out. Uh, it launched in a different state of what it's in now. It launched as a 3-player co-op grand adventure living game, and then it kind of evolved into a microtransaction games as a service game, which I not for me, right? Not for me. Uh, but I'm a huge fan of Bungie. I'm rooting for Marathon, and I hope it does well. But I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, and then we'll see. I'll if I ever get into it, I'll report back for you. But
Yeah, yeah. Talk about it
definitely,
on the cast.
yeah, I'm rooting for Bungie on this one.
Hmm.
I Marathon is a name that goes before Halo even became into existence.
Yep.
It just I don't know. There's something I got a feeling there's something about this as an extraction shooter. I think that's the big thing. It may be a niche genre, but I think it's a niche genre that hasn't been that's not what do I saturated enough.
Yeah.
Just like you have MOBAs and battle arena games and all that. I think it's the one because everybody knows Escape from Tarkov. Not everybody's able to play.
Mhm.
Escape from Tarkov. So I think there's something there. I'm really excited to see what happens. And you know, as much as I'd hate to love to say it bombs, so your draft goes to crap. I'm really rooting for
Right.
Bungie.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of a drafted game, we'll talk about a little later that you have as a counter pick. Uh, we should probably explain the draft at some point because we keep bringing it up. But Escape from Tarkov, is that the one with the proximity chat?
Yes, I believe. I
Dude,
believe. I believe that has proximity chat.
that is an awesome idea. When you grab someone and make them a shield for yourself, you can talk to them and you can be like, "You're my bitch now."
I I,
I
I
really
always I
go
always think of Metal Gear Solid when you used to
Mhm.
interrogate people and you'd have him wrapped up and he's like, "Speak now."
Yep,
It just
yep.
That's what I always think of.
Yeah. I don't know if Marathon I don't think Marathon has proximity chat, but there's time, there's still time, and they should put it in, because it is PvP, but the cool thing is it can be PvE. Like, you can see another team, and you can be like, "Hey, we got this big fucker over here we need to kill, and we need more people. Do you just wanna, like, team up, and we can all extract together?" And then
Yeah.
you can either do that, and then after you beat it, the team can go by their word, or they can just kill you and take all your shit and then extract themselves. I like that aspect. It's pretty cool.
I agree. I think there needs to be in there. It's like, you ever seen that famous video from of a streamer? I don't remember his name. He was playing Rust.
Mm-mm.
So it's a survival, think like Ark style game, with some proximity chat, and the streamer's online, and he gets sniped by this young kid, and you can hear it in his voice, and he starts just talking trash and everything else, and he goes, "Hold on, oh okay, I just want my bow. That's all I want." And somebody's already hearing me say this video. I just want my bow. That's all I want. And the kid wouldn't leave it, so he calls up all of his buddies because he's a streamer, and shows up with like 13 dudes outside this guy's base, and you can see because of the proximity chat they're coming
Yeah.
through the window as they're in their base, and he's like, "All I wanted was my bow. I gave you one warning. This is your punishment." And lines up. He goes, "Rocket launchers," and they just
Oh
start
shit.
bombing his base. And he's like, "No." He's like, "I gave you one chance." And I think that would be great for Marathon, is to be able
Hmm.
to do that coordination effort. Oh gosh, if they added proximity chat, that might be the thing that tips me over the edge.
Dude, I really think this game is ripe for it, and they would benefit from that heavily. And yeah, I don't, man, it does excite me because Destiny raids were some of the best and most fun co op I've ever had in video games. 6 player, 2 hour, puzzle based. It was just, they were incredible. They were so fun. Shout out to my raid teams back in the day. You know who you are. Uh, there's actually a trophy on Destiny 1 that you have to finish a raid without anyone dying. And keep in mind, there's like 5 bosses in the raid, and each boss has a wipe mechanic, meaning if you don't do the right shit at the right time at the exact same moment or in unison, they'll wipe your entire team. Raid deaths for one raid usually were about 100 to 150 deaths per raid, and there was a trophy for going through the entire raid without dying. Not only did we do one of the hardest ones, Vault of Glass, but we got that trophy and we did the flawless raider. We also did Crota's End too. We had a really good raid team, and I love Destiny, man. Destiny was awesome.
So was it just a coordinated event, or did you guys have some kind of like cheese mechanic?
Nope, we didn't cheese. There was a cheese for Crota on the Crota's End. You could pull the plug, and Crota would just sit there, and you could drop him. I never did it. I actually encountered it one time, and they're like, "All right, who's pulling the plug?" I'm like, "If anyone pulls the plug, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I'm not a cheeser, man."
Wow,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I salute you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I like earning my shit, and we could have done it on Crota's End, but we were like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go for Vault. And Vault of Glass has a insane platforming section where the platforms disappear and you have to jump when they're not there, and when they appear, you land on them, and then you have to jump immediately. Crazy, and we did that flawless. It was
Huh.
some of the best co-op gaming. Bungie and the gameplay. Yeah, shout out to Destiny, man. It's evolved into something different now. The raids are still there. You can still have fun. But yeah, they're making Marathon. We're rooting for Marathon. I hope it does. Hope it does really well. Uh, Next news item, just a small one. One I'm very excited for. One I think you're very excited for. Sea of Stars DLC got a release date. The Throes of the Watchmaker,
Yeah.
and dude, this DLC looks awesome. Did you watch the trailer for it?
No, I haven't gotten a chance yet, just
Yeah,
because of how short that video came out for.
yeah,
But I mean, let's be honest, it's a shut up and take my money situation,
yep,
for that DLC. Uh, that that publisher has absolutely earned my trust. 10
yep.
out of 10
Sabotage.
times. Yeah, Sabotage has
Yeah,
earned my trust. It only and that goes for anybody out there that's thinking about making their games. Give me one good game, and you've earned my trust. And um,
yes, sir.
I just oh that you actually turned me on to Sea of Stars. Uh,
Awesome.
you were the reason I absolutely started looking into it, and uh, needless to say, Throws of the Watchmaker are coming. My only concern is the timing that comes out with it.
Yeah, May 20th it releases. Not great. Not a great time to release because that's 5 days after Doom.
Yep, and Doom is non-negotiable, folks.
Right. Right. So it'll be there whenever you want to play it. You know, we always have to plan these games and shit. September is looking August is looking crazy now. But you know, that's I just got to keep a list of all this shit.
Do we absolutely.
Yeah.
I do wanna so you said the DLC for this. So anybody that hasn't played, I guess I
Yes.
did forget to sell that, is for
Right.
Sea of Stars is a classic RPG, turn-based RPG,
Yep.
very beautifully done as a pixel art. It is one of those games where, people ask for their Chrono Trigger remaster, or whatever, not remake, but remaster to come out, or at least come out on a modern consoles in a way that doesn't require us to pirate it. Um, Sea of Stars is that game. It carries its inspiration on its sleeve. If you enjoy old school turn-based RPG mechanics with an amazing story, there are parts of it that I cried like a big grown man. I'll
Me
admit it.
too.
Um, Anybody that's out there
Me
that's
too.
played it knows what I mean. Oh,
Yep.
but yeah, this is the DLC, and you know what the best thing about this DLC is, Matt?
What?
It's free 99.
Free. Sabotage coming in clutch. They're like, yeah. And when they did the physical version, it was really cool. They're like, because it released digitally, right? And when they did the physical version, they're like, we're gonna wait and print it because we want all the patches and everything, and we want the complete game on the disc, just like you got in the old SNES days. And I can't recommend this game enough. This was my indie game of the year. Gorgeous pixel art. The composer for Chrono Trigger actually did some of the tracks in the game. Incredible music, amazing tight turn-based gameplay. Just a phenomenal indie game. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely go
Yes.
check it out, folks. If you like RPGs, go check out Sea of Stars. It was on Play. I think I don't know if it's been removed, but it was on PlayStation Plus for the longest time.
Yeah.
So if you're not sure, I still went and bought a physical copy because I wanted to support the developer that bad.
Yeah.
But absolutely, go do it. Just that's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a Kickstarter, and I'm in the credits of that game because I backed it, and
Oh,
I got the yeah.
so are you in the? I gotta ask. Are you in the graveyard then? The tomb?
Uh, no, I think I'm just in the credits. I didn't that I think that was like $500 or something like that to be
Yeah,
on the graves.
but there was one in one particular grave in there, like, I
Yeah.
had to stop, and I started sobbing like a big baby. I don't know if you ever found it.
Which one?
So there's one in there, and it's essentially a message to the daughter of these parents
Ah, dang.
who said it was in memory of, and I don't remember her name, "Mom and Dad love you." And I saw
Ah,
that and knew the Kickstarter backing and immediately started tearing up and crying like a baby.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kickstarter's really cool. I've backed a few games there, and Sea of Stars was one of them.
yeah.
So, they delivered. I think that got like a 90 on Metacritic or OpenCritic. It was received very well. It's a very, very good indie game, uh, and turn-based, which we're gonna talk about another little turn-based game, uh, here in a bit. So, yeah, Sea of Stars DLC, May 20th. Check it out. Check out the full game if you haven't. Let's see. Lost Soul Side got delayed. Um, I've been excited for this game. It looks cool. It was announced so long ago, like 12 years ago, I think, 10 years ago. Uh, and they've been cooking for a while. That was delayed from, I mean, this month, right, to August 29th.
Yeah.
So I'm still excited for this game. I still have faith. It's still on my draft. I'm not dropping it. PlayStation is behind it. It looks fucking awesome. It's Devil May Cry in multiple dimensions with a talking dragon familiar thing. I'm super excited, and it's gorgeous too. So check that out. Lost Soul Aside. That I think the most recent trailer was the last PlayStation event, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I think you're right on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what it was. They had that art style though. I'm not sure. Not sure. It's on the iffy
sure.
list. I love your confidence with it.
Yep.
But that art style definitely got my attention.
I was also confident about Forspoken, but to be fair, that's one of the games I'm going to be talking about, and I thought it was good. Anyway, I don't want to spoil that for the main topic, but yeah, Lost Soul Side delayed. Delays are fine. I am fine with delays. There's so many games out. It got delayed to a really another game that got delayed to a really bad spot one day after Metal Gear Solid Delta. Fuck.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, Especially for
Ugh.
for that team,
Yeah.
because we'll be talking about it later. Virtuous is working on that Metal Gear Solid game, um,
Yep.
and if this other game is any indicator, they're cooking over there, and they're cooking really hard. Um,
Mhm.
Sorry, Lost Soul. I'll
Yeah.
see you next
Ugh.
year. Is the way I'm looking at it.
I'll see you probably uh end of the year, but we're both in on Metal Gear Solid Delta day fucking one. I got that shit pre-ordered. If no one knows what Delta is going to be, we'll talk about this on the next episode. The games we're excited for this year. Delta is the remake of one of the best Metal Gears. One of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Good answer. One
Yeah,
of the
one
best
of
Metal Gears.
one of
Uh,
my personal favorite is Twin Snakes,
yep.
which is a remake of one. Yeah.
Which is a remake of one, which is,
So
objectively the best one, but that's just my opinion.
subjectively, you mean?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, subjectively.
Yeah.
Right. Well, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Kojima cooks, man. All of them are amazing. I still haven't played 5. I really, really need to play 5. But apparently 75% of the game is good and the last 25% is meh.
Yeah, no, that's an apt description,
Yeah, yeah.
but
And when I
yeah,
play games, I play them to complete them. I wanna complete them. And I do really need to play 5, but not anytime during the window of Death Stranding 2,
e
'cause I
maybe
like to. What?
maybe 2026, 'cause if you
Yeah,
wanna
maybe.
complete a game, you might wanna push that one back another year.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it's really long, and I I usually go into games to platinum them, let's be honest. I'm a fucking completionist. I have a lot of platinums. I heard that platinum's really tough.
Yes, it is,
Is that an understatement?
that is an understatement.
Nice.
It's one of those platinum so it's one of those games where you can get through the first, you could do the golden path and get through in a decent amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Don't ask me, I would have to go check how long to beat, but I wanna say about 50, 60 hours you can get through it. But it's
Yeah.
also one of those, if you try to platinum, you're just gonna be spending so many hours. It's like a buddy of mine who sent me a picture today. He
Yeah.
platinumed, Like a Dragon. Not Infinite Wealth, but
Mhm.
Like a Dragon. You can play that game and get through it in 60 hours. He got the
Dang.
platinum today. 333 hours
Yep.
of playtime.
Yep. That I respect that. I actually just got a platinum that took me about 350 hours,
Mhm.
which is another game I'm gonna get into. Uh, yeah, the platinum chase is real. I love the meta game, and we are both trophy hunters. So
A So for your reference, AI overview, if you will, because 'cause I'm not going to how long when you're looking at this, it says the main story is 45 and a half hours. Main
yeah,
plus side is 82. You wanna know
dang.
that completionist for you, bud?
What?
164 hours.
This is MGS5.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't deter me from playing it. Let me be clear. I don't go into games wanting the to platinum it, right? I mean, I want to platinum, but I that's not my deterrent to play the game. If I'm like, I can finish it in 40 hours, I will sacrifice that 100% list just to play the game. I don't play the game for trophies. I play the game because I fucking like video games and I have fun playing them. Let me be
Mhm.
clear. Yeah. So, yeah, never play the game for just the reward, right? The experience is even as important. So, uh, to wrap up this news, do you want to talk about it? I'll hand it over to you because you are the resident expert in this, and we are fresh off the event.
Okay, all right, yep. So, as we alluded to earlier, Borderlands 4, a lot has been shaken up, recently. First, they announced that they were gonna do a state of play dedicated to just that. When you have Sony's backing, that is just a good indicator, of the game. We
Mhm.
originally saw this back at, Summer Games Fest last year, and then we continued to see updates at the, Game Awards, in
Yep.
December, announcing this. Its a release date was originally, late September. It actually got pushed up by a couple of weeks now to September 12th.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Gearbox is the developer is absolutely cooking on this one. I'm looking at the gameplay and the trailer. They had a state of play about 20 minutes, give or take. Went a
Yeah.
little bit over the backstory, covered a couple of the different things you'll see, gave us some mechanical insights, gameplay, things of that nature. Um, and I gotta say, man, that game looks like a return to form.
Yep.
Borderlands 1, when it originally came out and defined that looter shooter genre, just blew our minds with the art style, that cell shading, especially when you look at cell shading back in those days. It was kind of frowned upon, with very few and rare exceptions. And then Borderlands 2 came, and it was like, oh my goodness, I didn't think you could get better. And then you got into the other games, and I'm not saying they're bad. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed pre-sequel. I'm a huge fan of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands because
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge nerd, and I
Yeah.
play D&D. I run my own group, so the ability to combine looter shooter with D&D kind of like
Oh yeah.
scratched an itch that was needed. And then you got 3 as well in there, and it wasn't bad, but it was very strugglish out the gate.
Best gameplay of all of them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But yeah, absolutely. To get back to the not to belabor the point, Borderlands 4.
Mhm.
I looking at this, I got huge Destiny vibes.
I think we
Uh,
all did. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not watching. I didn't play Destiny, but I looked at it and I went, "That's Destiny." So I'm wondering if they got some talent from Bungie because it's PlayStation backed, and Bungie being PlayStation owned, and Bungie trying to fight the corporate overpowers ever since their days back in Halo CE.
Mhm.
I think Sony finally broke them a little bit, and we got some of that talent that bled through, and just that Siren class. Ugh. And
Oh yeah, Vex. Vex is gonna be my girl. It's funny her name is Vex because that's literally the name of a faction in Destiny. And you said it. It does look like Destiny. And it's funny because Destiny got inspiration from Borderlands as a looter shooter. And then now Borderlands is getting inspiration from Destiny. Hopefully only on a gameplay level. Hopefully they don't bring what Destiny brought in with First Light, which was microtransactions and the battle pass and games as a service. I hope they just got inspiration for the gameplay of Destiny because yeah, man, it looks like Destiny and Borderlands had a baby, and I couldn't be more excited. Vex is going to be my girl with that cat familiar. I'm going to give it all the pets.
yeah, absolutely, I did. Oh, dude, and I'm excited to see the other classes.
Yeah,
Simply
they
being,
showed two. They showed two
yeah.
classes.
And they showed the 2 classes that I almost never play, right out
Yeah.
the gate. In fact, I never play
Oh
out the
yeah.
gate, and I eventually get around to you. So I'm curious to see what they do what else. It is funny. You're absolutely right. Borderlands defined the looter shooter genre, and Destiny
Yep.
came around and said, "Hey, we're gonna do a looter shooter." And now it
Right.
feels like Randy and Gearbox said, "Tell you what, we're gonna show you
Hmm.
how you do what you do, but we're gonna make it better." And I just the feel of that game,
Yeah.
the mechanics are back. Like it. you can see objectively with the physics, and that's what's important about a shooter. Whether it's a looter shooter, extraction shooter, is the way it feels to traverse and move around in the game. Because shooting weapons is fun, but go back to GoldenEye, it hurts. It hurts because it's not fun to move in. And I'm thinking they announced so many different mechanics. Double jump.
Yeah,
You can grapple now. I'm a good god grapple hooks. Okay.
right. Yeah, you
That
kinda have a glide. The glide thing is cool.
yeah. You,
Yeah.
the art style, the mechanics, everything else on there. The only thing. So I'm kind of split 50-50. My only concern with the game is part of me wants them to bring Handsome Jack back. The other
Of
half of me
course.
doesn't want me to because then they're going back to the
Mm,
well.
that's true.
But if you
They
brought
they can do it well. They could probably do it well.
yeah, but yeah, that's this is probably the most anticipated game of the year for me. We'll get there on next episode.
Mhm.
Um, it was floundering for a little bit on that
Mhm.
list, and then after
You
today
even
watching it,
counterpicked it.
we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there 'cause,
Yeah, we'll go into the draft.
I'm crying and, happy on the inside at the same time about that,
Yep.
but, uh, yeah, totally, man, the Borderlands 4, coming out September 12th, you better best believe I'll be there, especially with my wife, as they do confirm they're gonna keep split screen co-op,
Yeah, they brought that back.
which is rare. Only one other
Yeah.
person I could think of consistently does that, and that's because that's their thing. Shout out to our man, Joseph Harris.
A's Light. Yeah. Yeah. That'll be on the list of the games we've played this year. But yeah, dude, Borderlands 4 looks awesome. They showed all 4 classes, but they went in depth with 2 classes, and I'm always the siren in these games. Always the siren, always the mage, always the magic user, sometimes the healer. But dude, Vex looks awesome. She's like a vampire necromancer with a saber-tooth tiger familiar. I'm in. Count me in.
It I hate to say it, but she gives that big gothy mommy vibes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's a certain part of my brain that goes, "Ooh,"
Oh, absolutely.
and I don't play Sirens. I played Mordecai in the original
Mhm.
Borderlands because,
Ooh.
wait, I get to fly around and have a pet just do all the work for me,
Yep.
and I'm sorry, his VO was by far
Bloodwing.
superior. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
one of the few moments in video games where I cried like a baby. Um,
Oh, yeah.
you
Two
know, if
story. Woo.
yeah, if somebody knows what I'm talking about, they know what I'm talking about out there.
If you
Uh,
know, you know. We're not gonna spoil it.
no. Borderlands 2 was gunzerking because, "Oh, wait, I get to use 2 different weapons at the same
Mhm.
time? Oh, hey, let me go, do the burn through all of my ammo in 30 seconds." Um,
Yep.
3 seconds later, "Oh, I'm spent." Kinda like my love life. Hey.
Yep. I mained Maya first in 2, but then I went Salvador because he was just too fun. The Gunzerker.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Yeah.
Maya was a lot of fun as a good support character.
The phase lock, oh,
Yeah.
so OP, especially when you fully upgraded it. Man, huge Borderlands fan.
Yeah, I'm
You
looking
have a
forward to
fucking
it.
tattoo.
Yeah, I do. I don't have I only have some ink, but that's one of the few,
Yeah.
from a story of it holds such a that and, the original Half-Life holds
Yep.
such places in my memory and in where the, shaping of where I am today, that I had to do it. Plus, I mean, they're simple things. Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah, exactly.
so you're gonna that means you and I will be playing, right?
Oh,
Day 1?
100%. Day 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be Vex. You were thinking about being Vex, but we'll
I
see.
kinda was, but we'll see what the other classes in store.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Um,
100% Vex. I always play Siren, and I fell in love with the class for sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing about those classes is you know it when you see it. I didn't see
Yep.
anything about Borderlands 3 until I saw Flack and saw what his abilities were and saw his character design and who he was and what his abilities were, and it was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm sold." I
Yep.
just it speaks to your soul.
It sure does, yeah, and speaking of tattoos, ironically, my 4th tattoo it's probably gonna be Destiny. I'm gonna get a Warlock tattoo. Just because I spent 10 years of my life, dude. Thousands of hours. But the other 3 I have a Tron ISO tattoo from Tron Legacy. I have the power button, for pretty much all technology, and then I have the sacred shapes, the PlayStation symbols on my left forearm. So the Destiny Warlock symbol, probably purple because I ran the Void Warlock primarily, is going to be on the other side of the gaming arm. I have a gaming arm and a technology arm.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I ever tell you what my next? I got to get the artist, but I ever tell you what my next ink's going to be?
No, what?
So on my calves, on one side, I'm going to have Link full
Hell
color
yeah.
art, like like the more old school
I have
style.
a friend that has that on
Yeah.
his bicep.
So he's going to be going through on that one, but he's going to be driving the Master Sword down into the ground
Oh,
through a blue portal, and then it's going to
oh
come out the
yeah.
red portal on the other side, hitting Ganondorf.
Hell yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
now
you got
you're
to
playing
get
with
that.
portals.
Yeah. And then another one I've had in mind is I gotta get it. I think maybe for the next R make of Final Fantasy VII, I'm gonna get that meteor tattoo because seven is one of my top IPs or top favorite games of all time.
I don't blame you on that one. And
Yeah,
it's an iconic
it is.
symbol. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And Rebirth was my game of the year. Just man, I love what they're doing with the remakes. I was a little hesitant when they said we're breaking it up into 3 parts, but I can see why. And if, dude, in the next remake we get High Wind, can go around to all the places still, load it in. Hell yeah, that'll be on PS6. It'll be maybe a launch or a launch window title.
Yeah, absolutely. My only
Yeah,
concern with that would be just that early on, still trying to figure out the hardware, but they've been cooking, so
right.
I have no
Yeah,
reason to doubt them.
yeah, and they said they were going to go to Unreal Engine 5. They were thinking about going to Unreal Engine 5, but I don't really think they should do it. I think stick with UE4. You already got all the assets. You already built all the towns, everything like that. Stick with UE4. I'd love to see UE5, but that'll just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to cause a lot of problems because
UE
I have seen the cracks of UE5. I'm actually playing a game in UE5 right now.
Oh,
So,
you too?
yeah, yep. Yep. And UE5, Unreal Engine 5. Uh, so Epic makes an engine, Unreal Engine, and the engine is the game. So for people that, most of our listeners are gamers and they game every day, but some of our listeners don't know what the acronyms mean. And we'll explain it for you. We'll
Yeah,
help you out.
got you
Uh,
there.
but yeah, Borderlands 4, we are kind of fresh off that event. We watched it together. We fanboyed together on Borderlands. We've played all of them. Big fans of the IP. I am super excited for 4. I've loved all the entries. Even Wonderlands was really fun. The DLC sucked, but Wonderlands was really good. And Borderlands has always had amazing DLC too. Borderlands 2 and 3, some of the highlights. 2, I mean, they spun off an entire game off of one of them, Tiny Tina's uh, Assault on Dragon Keep, and we got Wonderlands from it. So, but unfortunately, Wonderlands DLC was not great.
It wasn't. They were very much hey, we have a requirement because we open our mouths to create DLC, but we don't
Yeah,
have any ideas to create the DLC. So they just did the dungeon rerun spinner of keep killing the boss over and over, which is cool. But when you compare it to like Torg's DLC and Borderlands 2,
oh,
you get a full sense of the spectrum there.
yep.
Um, it's
Captain Scarlet's pirate booty.
Oh my good.
Mm.
That was a really good DLC. Like
Yeah, and then
I if you look at my PlayStation profile, there is a issue with PSN profiles. I have completed that game and gotten every trophy multiple times over to include on what for Borderlands 2 specifically, to include what's in the you can go look at my old Xbox achievement list and things like that. It's not Leon Lionheartly, but you could find me if you look hard enough. Uh, and I'm telling you, I don't have the platinum on Borderlands 2 on the PS5 simply, or the collection, simply because
yeah,
of one bug trophy. But absolutely,
the challenges trophy.
yep, the
Yep,
challenges
it
trophy.
was bugged.
I have one literally bugged for damage.
Damn, they didn't patch it.
No, there's only one way to do it, and it's so stupid. You have to go down into the shop inside a sanctuary, and you got to go to the gun range where
Oh
Marcus
wow.
is at, and
Okay.
you've got to do this weird business where basically you're tricking the game into thinking you're doing negative damage, and then it brings down
Oh
the
yeah, I
damage
remember
bar.
reading this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it brings down the damage bar under the threshold for the challenge, so that way you
Mhm.
can then go kill somebody and redo the challenge and it pops.
Mm.
But
Go do it. I'll hop on. We'll pop that platinum.
no, 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 you do not understand. I was pl That's on my Gunzerker. My Gunzerker is a
Okay.
DPS. The mi I wanna don't quote me on this, but I wanna say, let's say the arbitrarily, the damage cap is 1,000,000 damage to enemies.
Mhm.
I'm at, like, 25,000,000 damage.
Yeah, yeah, Gunzerker's broke.
So,
It's crazy.
there's no way I'm going to do it unless I wanna sit there for 2 hours going down and tricking the game because you can only go in increments. Nah, I
Yeah.
don't. No, then my only other option is to do a new save file, and, well, 2025 is the game of the year of the games, and I don't have
Yeah, it is.
that time.
Yeah, gotcha. I hate bug trophies. They're the worst. And good shout out to PSN Profiles. That was the last of our news, the Borderlands 4 event. So that brings us to our main topic, which to start off, to set the stage, if you will, we're going to talk about PSN Profiles, trophies. Like what most people know what trophies are, but what the hell are trophies? Why do we love them? Trophies are a little metagame in the game that you can pop for challenges. You start a game. If you get all the collectibles in the game, you get a trophy. You get all the trophies in the game, you get a platinum. And PSN Profiles monitors and has a database for all your trophies. And that's what we're referencing, PSN Profiles. My PSN Profiles link is in my Discord bio, I think. I think that's what it's called, the bio.
Yeah.
Yeah, my PSN Profiles link is there. That means if I'm talking about a game, you can go in and you can see if I've played that game, at least on PlayStation. Uh, and you can see the trophies and you can see the games we've played. And if we're talking about something, because, like I said on the last cast, uh, people will be like, oh, yeah, this game sucks, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, have you played the game? Or you're complaining about it, but have you played it? Oh, no, you haven't? Shut up.
Yeah, and then they don't participate and they hide their trophies, and it's like, "What are you hiding from, dude?"
Exactly. Yeah. No,
I'll be the
yeah.
first to admit that my trophy list is not always as complete, but I'm not a trophy hunter. But I play a lot of games, and I will tell you which ones I have played.
You have a good amount of platinums and you have a good amount of trophies. I would say you're a light trophy hunter. Don't
Mhm.
count yourself out. I'm definitely a trophy hunter. I play games to complete them. I love the metagame of the trophies. Uh, and I love PlayStation because of the trophy structure. I love PlayStation because of their games and the quality of their games and the studios and the genre of the games. But I do love that trophy metagame, and PSN Profiles tracks that. So you have a solid list, man. You got some good platinums.
Yep. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we'll definitely go over that. I'm gonna let you. I apologize here, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna let you acapella for just like 2 seconds.
No problem. No problem. I'll talk about trophies and maybe the way I play video games. So I have a theater room for games. I'm at a point in my life where I have basically been able to build and curate a room dedicated to games. I have a shelf full of all my physical games. I play on a 83-inch Sony OLED. I have a 9.2 Sonos surround system connected to it, and I'm on the PlayStation Pro, and I have the DualSense Edge. I use the DualSense Edge, and I like to get immersed in my games, and I don't like distractions. I like the lights down. I don't really have anything on my walls, and I really like to get immersed in the content of the games. And I play uh, single player, third person, narrative driven, story heavy video games. And that's why I like PlayStation. PlayStation has some of those games. They're known for it, and they have the best version of those games, honestly. But I love getting immersed in my games, and that's why I have my setup. Bob, you've seen my setup.
Oh, absolutely. It puts mine to shame.
I've I've built and I've done a lot of research on all the technology, and I just try and play the best version of the game I can when it comes to a technological standpoint, audio, video, and even my DualSense Edge. Man, I have those paddles, and It gives me the edge in video games.
Are
It
you edging?
Yeah, I'm edging all the time. Man, I recently got that actually, and I gotta say, I haven't used a regular DualSense since I got that. I got that on the 30th anniversary. When was that? October or something like that of last year. And yeah, the DualSense Edge is so awesome. I feel like it makes you a little better at the game because you have those. You can put them on, dodge or block. Like I was playing Black Myth Wukong with it, and I feel like I was playing better with that controller. So we're not sponsored or anything. I'm just saying I like the fucking controller. It's awesome. Gives you an edge.
Yeah, no, it's I recently talked to somebody who got an Edge, and I was like, "Dude, you're in for a world."
Yeah,
And what's funny is the first question I asked him is, "So, you changed out the joysticks, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, to the PlayStation 3 nubs, the short
yeah,
one." And I'm like, "Yep, that's where it's
exactly.
at."
It's the right answer. Yep.
Absolutely. I haven't gone back since I've started playing on that. I was rocking that Astrobot controller, and I love the
Yep.
aesthetics of it. But it wasn't until I got my hands on the Edge and got those PS3 nubs, the
Hmm.
versus the indented PS5 sticks.
Yep.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, and it's got like a weight to it. And I feel like it connects faster. It just feels more premium. It is pricey, but depending on how often you use it, you're gonna get value out of it. And I bought two. I had to get I had to get the black one, but that dude, the 30th anniversary one, the 30th anniversary is the colors of the original PlayStation. Uh, and man, that one's pretty. But the black one came out, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I got one. The battery life is not as good as the regular DualSense. Okay, my play sessions are usually between 4 and 5 hours, and I've never had a problem with it. But it's not as good as the regular DualSense. So,
Yeah, I've ran through the battery a couple of times, but I'm a degenerate sometimes, and I'm gaming for 8 to 10 hours at a time, and
oh
uh,
damn,
oh yeah, catch me on the right day where I finally have nothing to do, and I'm gonna sit and veg in front of the TV with a. Well, obviously, I'm not playing with Cheetos, but as the old
yeah,
adage goes, Mountain Dew and Cheetos.
right,
Um, but absolutely, the only kind of complaint I have is you have the docking for charging the
yeah.
dock for control. Sometimes mine says it's charging, but then I wake up the next day and I'm already down about a bar on my battery.
I've had
Um,
that happen too. It's random. I think it has to do with the um, if you're charging it externally and not on the PlayStation 5 port.
oh, okay,
Yep.
and I think that's the case for
Yep.
me.
So I've had that happen. I hear you there. I know what you're talking about. Um, yeah. So I was just talking about the setup, how I play, where I play. Uh, you're rocking the Sony OLED connected to the Pro. You got your Astros. You got a good setup, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of recommendations that came in from you. So
Hell
huge
yeah.
shout out. Absolutely. I was against the Pro for a while, but simply because I didn't have the panel to be able to do it until finally the stars aligned, and I just said, "Screw it! If I'm gonna do this, especially with the PS6 looming, and then at the time the Switch 2 announcements coming in, because we didn't know 100%, nothing had been announced at that time. It was like I've got to pull the trigger. I've got to find a way to do this. And then that went into the conversation of, well, why not get a PS5 Pro? Um,
Yeah,
there's only so many games, but it was fun to go back and exactly what I'm going to do with the Switch 2. It was fun to go back and play, pop in a game and see
exactly.
what kind of performance you get, even if the game's not coded for a PS5 Pro with a patch, just to see what you can get out of that raw power. And she's
Yeah, it
absolutely.
enhances games that aren't even patched. And yeah, I would be like, dude, you gotta come over and see this on the Pro. And you're like, okay. And you're like, fuck, I gotta get a Pro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
I
now
do
the only
not
other
regret it at all. I
yeah,
love it.
the only other step is to get a sound system, like
Yeah,
you. Um, um,
Sonos.
yeah,
Sonos. It's a little pricey, but that value, right? Whenever you are ready, let me know and I have some recommendations. We'll build you a system.
that's, beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
what's It's sad, but, at the same time, I defend this, is I'm running a sound bar. I happened to be walking through a Walmart one day,
Yeah.
and they just happened to have their brand of a sound bar, and it was on sale. I mean, I looked at it and I was like, "There's no way.
Yeah.
$60 for a sound bar? That
That's not
doesn't."
bad.
I was like, "There's no, that doesn't seem." Something felt off. I was like, either it's a fluke with the system and it's a real crap or something like that. No, I plugged it in, took it home. You can crank that bad boy up and it does the job.
Nice.
It's not no Sonos system or Astro headphones. But
Yeah.
when you don't feel like having a headset on because of, the indentation, it does the job, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm in the point of my life and I'm very grateful where I'm at, where I can buy these things. But if you're on a budget, then there are tons of options out there. And as long as you're enjoying the game and you can see it and hear it, it's really all that matters. Right. I go for the premium experience because I'm at a point in my life where I can. I'm older and that's what I prefer.
Yeah, you can game on a budget. I
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I dream for the day where we don't have a game of or a year of games being released because I can finally catch up with everything that's out
Oh,
there.
same here.
Yeah, you could take your I shared my Steam library with my kids. There's so many games in there. I'm not on Steam as much anymore, but there's so many games in there. They don't have to buy another game for the rest of their life.
Right.
Granted, some of them play. One of them plays Overwatch, and the other one's playing Genshin, and I'm like, oh, that hurts.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta teach these kids what the good games are.
And there is one, and, who understands.
Good.
I sent him down a path, and I said, "You need to play
Yes.
Half-Life one
Teach
day, son.
him.
You need to play Half-Life one day, son." And then he finally came back after he played it, and he was like, "Dad, I see why you have that tattooed on your arm."
Oh, that is just man, wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Teach him young. Teach him young. I recently visited my brothers in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, and I was able to play some video games with one of my nephews, and I got him into Cuphead. He really likes Cuphead. So he was into Cuphead, but then like I started playing and I was like, no, well, I showed him some tricks and he really loves Cuphead now. And I'm like, yes, I'm showing these kids the good games. And I think every kid should play Pokemon because it's all about math. And the Japanese developers literally made that game so kids could grow up and learn about math. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's just touchstone games that if you say you're a gamer,
Hmm.
you need to play,
Absolutely.
for good and bad, just so you can see what the history you get a sense of history.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not really into the games as a service stuff. It's not for me. They're great games. They're awesome. Other people can play them. Just not for me. As you're going to see in the list we're about to talk about, which brings us to our main topic. We are going to talk about the games we've played this year so far. We're pretty much going to rapid fire them and tell and share our thoughts about them and
Yeah.
the genre, if we liked it or not. I rarely play games if I don't think I'm going to like them. I rarely play a game if I don't think I'm going to finish it. And we have a list for you, so we're going to kind of catch you up on the games we've played this year. We're going to go from the one we started January 1st or started playing January 1st. So you want to start?
Yeah, sure, why not? So we could go into January. January is a weird month for me. If I'm being honest, I started with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It's not
Nice.
on my list, simply because I went back for the platinum.
Yeah.
As a crazy man, um, absolutely do not recommend that unless you like replaying or really like spending 200 hours into an RPG, a
Hmm.
turn-based RPG. Um, and then, of course, there were some return to favors such as Balatro and Astrobot. But
Yeah.
I was thinking as I was looking at this list, I was like, what was one game that really I came back into and I dove into hardcore?
Yeah.
Um, and while I'm still working on the platinum, and that would be Ruined King, a League of
Oh,
Legends
nice.
story.
Yeah.
It is
And
a
we could go back and forth on this, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's
Yeah.
where we're gonna go with, just go down the line here.
Yep.
This is a, Battle Chasers, if anybody's played it, style
Yes.
game.
Good shout out.
Yeah, it's in the style. It's in the League of Legends world or universe, Runeterra. Um, I get people talk about Arcane, and Arcane is really beautiful, but this one takes place in an entirely different area with entirely different characters. And I'm telling you, if you liked Arcane and you like turn-based, I don't want to say RPGs, but really strategy RPGs is the best way to put it.
Mhm.
Definitely give this one a look. It's a little buggy, but it's absolutely a beautiful game, and it runs and it's fun end to end. So, what
Very
about
cool.
you?
Yeah, you actually showed me Ruin King when you came over. We hung out, and a lot like Battle Chasers. I love Battle Chasers, a game from Airship Syndicate. Really good turn-based RPG, and I think it has the DNA in that. So yeah, what I saw, it looked really fun. For me, so I have a list of games. I played some new releases, of course. I went back and 100%ed some games. Went back and platinum some games, played some DLC, but the game I started off first for January, I didn't play it on release. I waited for the physical version to come, but that's Black Myth Wukong. And this game, I had a lot of fun with it. And the story is about Journey to the West, if you're familiar with that, about the Monkey King. It's a third person, Souls light, very heavy with combat. I'd say the game is very hard, not as hard as some Souls games out there, right? We've all played the hard Souls games. It's a very hard game. It's very fun. It's in, I think, Unreal Engine 4 or 5. I'm not sure, but it looks great. I think it's in Unreal Engine 4, but it's a very good looking game. This game got nominated for Game of the Year last year, which I disagree with. I think another game that I also played at the beginning of the year should have taken its place. Phenomenal game though. I highly recommend it if you want to get your ass kicked. And I got the platinum on it too.
That's a
Yeah,
masochist right there.
I got the platinum on it. The secret super boss was very challenging, but I loved every minute of it. So some interesting level design, a lot of invisible walls, uh, all around fun though. I recommend it. Black Myth Wukong, very fun game.
Yeah, I love it. I'll get back there someday. Me and that game are that's my
Yep.
Sekiro, if you will.
Oh, I don't want to talk about Sekiro.
uh,
Ugh, that's a story for another podcast.
yes, that is. Uh, yeah, man, that's great. I do want to say, but as we're getting into this for the audience out there, um, Matt and I have made I don't want to say a dedication to each other, but we've made a little bit of a we're going to do a commitment, and we're going to get a platinum every month of the year. I did while Ruin King is not my platinum. I did go back for that like a dragon, like I said.
Hmm.
Um, so just an FYI, that's where I'm at. Um, I guess anything else
Yeah,
for January for you?
that was your idea. You were like, let's get a platinum every month, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a really good challenge, and I'm all in. So yeah, we can either go month to month or game to game. It's up to you. But I do have one other January game. It's up to you. Do you want to go month to month or game to game?
Doesn't bother me, man. If you got more January, do it.
I have a lot in March though. Let's go. Let's go game to game.
Okay.
What's your next one?
So my next one is actually a recommendation from you.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, a little roguelike card game after I spent hours
Ah,
upon hours playing Balatro.
heck
And
yeah!
I'll never probably get the platinum in that. If you look at the platinum list, nope.
Insane.
But you turned me onto a game. I'll come back to it. I put it down for a little bit, but it's called Inscription.
Yep.
Anybody that's heard about Relatro, which is a rogue light style game, this one is about a card game, kind of like a callback to the trading card games of old yore, of Magic the Gathering and Yu Gi Oh. Except it's very indie developed. I don't remember the developer, but it's very indie. It's a very indie game. It does a lot of Mm, yeah, and the best way to put it is it tells you the story through the environment, and you have to kind of dig through to understand the lore. It doesn't just outright tell you this is the bad guy, this is what's going on. Um, and absolutely, that game is every time you think you have a handle on how to play the game, it throws something at you, and you
Switch
have
it
to
up.
learn. Yeah, they switch it up.
Yep.
And you find yourself getting frustrated sometimes. So it's a very bite-sized game. But if you like your roguelites, you like playing card games, definitely give it a check out, man.
Yeah, yeah. I still haven't platinumed that game. It's got an amazing twist on it. Pixel art. Shout out to Mystic Mace. He recommended me that game, and he just downloaded it. And he's like, "Yeah, check out Inscription. We're gonna play Inscription." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not into card games." Fell in love with it. Wasn't able to platinum it. That game is really hard to platinum, but I completed it and got as far as I could. Really fun game. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad you liked it, man. Let's see. My next one, a game that I waited for the PS5 Pro on. It was uh, it came out on the PS5, pretty broken, didn't get great reviews. A Square Enix developed game. I was very excited for it. I championed it. That's Forspoken. I finally played it. Runs beautifully on the PS5. I had a blast with it. I think it's somewhat underrated. The writing isn't great. Let's just say it right now. Writing isn't great. Performance is good. The combat is where it shines. And yeah, I just overall had a really good time with it. Played the DLC and another one I platinumed.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that game was you could see the Final Fantasy 16 gameplay in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Forspoken walked so Final Fantasy 16 could run. Yeah, just the particle effects, all the abilities you get, very fun combat. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. So I recommend it. I recommend Forspoken. I recommend you play it on the PS5 Pro though. And you play it 120 hertz on fidelity, I think it is. And it runs beautifully. It runs at 60 frames and it's great. I loved it. Yeah.
I'm glad you finally got around to it, man.
Yeah. I waited because I played the demo and I loved the combat, but it ran like shit. And I was like, I can't do it. I think it came out in a crowded time too. But I finally played it, loved it, platinumed it.
Awesome. Well, I guess what should I talk about? Oh, you know what? I'll touch base on my February platinum. I
Okay.
dug back into the whole of retro and went and digging through. I was like, I need to find something for February. I'm not really in the mood. It was right before Civ 7 finally launched, which we'll
Yeah.
get to later. And I found on the classics catalog within PlayStation, if you've got the subscription level, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Very cool.
Uh, the launch of what became Sucker Punch, or what is Sucker Punch to this day. And I heard a lot of good stories about this game. 3D platformer. It's got a little bit of emphasis on stealth, but it's a collectathon platformer from the early aughts. And I gotta say, while the writing is a little dated in some cases, I recognize that. I recognize dated writing. I don't care. I still enjoy it. I think all around you can see where the rough edges are, but you can see where they had actually where Sucker Punch really nailed an idea. The concept of running around as a just doing as a raccoon, stealing things, thematically tells a story in of itself. Let alone that he's got his little friends that are the turtle and the hippo, and one of them's the nerdy guy that's doing all the hacking for you in old school maternal millennium style, and his fat friend that's the getaway driver in the car that's
Oh
a
yeah.
hippo. Um, Absolutely recommend it. 20 hours you can run through, get the platinum. Particularly with the PlayStation Classics, you can use the rewind feature. And feel free, shameless, do not be shamed to use that rewind feature when available.
Yep. Yep. This next game I used the rewind feature, but that's cool. You platinumed it too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a little
Yeah.
bit. You do the main story, and then you got to do some cleanup at the end.
Yeah, just a classic platformer. One of Sucker Punch's first IPs, and just classic. I want to see 4. I want them to revisit. We need more. We need more of those cartoon platformers. I love those games.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah. This next one is in the vein of one of my favorite genres, one of my favorite IPs, and it is a remaster collection of some of the best games on the Nintendo DS. And this is the Castlevania Dominus Collection. I didn't start it in February, but I did finish and platinum it in February. I started it on launch, got this. I recently got my physical copy from Limited Run. So just a gorgeous physical copy with Shinoa on the front. But this remaster is comprised of three of the uh, best handheld games, in my opinion, of Castlevania. Uh, my favorite Castlevania is Symphony of the Night, but these are really good Castlevania games, and it has Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia. Uh, to get the platinum's pretty tough. You got to beat the game, and then you got to play it again in the Belmont modes. But it was very fun. It was very awesome revisiting the pixel art and the Metroidvania gameplay. I mean, it's one of the core games that made the Metroidvania, Castlevania. It's one of the core games that made the genre. Yeah, I'm a huge Castlevania fan. There are rumors that Castlevania is coming back, and Konami's been sitting on the IP for a while. The creator of Castlevania actually broke off and created his own thing, Iga. He created Bloodstained, and that's a phenomenal game. But I was so excited to see these games come back. And I played Dawn and Portrait back to back, but then I was like, I got to put it down for a little bit, and then I'll go back to Ecclesia. And I had other games to play. I finally went back to Ecclesia and popped that platinum for the Castlevania Dominus collection. Highly recommended. If you played the originals, it's got a lot of enhancements. If you didn't, what are you doing? Go play it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you went. See, I purposely left this one off on the list because I knew you were going to gush over it.
Yep.
Um, just for anybody that's curious, that is my March platinum when we get that far.
Oh yeah.
That was one of those games, but um, my next one is a little bit of a it's a swimming in seven situation. When this game came out, I tried to check it out. Nobody was talking about it. From what I could tell, it kind of went under the radar. There seemed to be mixed reviews on it. I played it for a little bit, got bored, and then put it down and decided to come back to it last year or at the beginning of this year. And that is from the developer of Don't Nod, Banishers
Mm.
of Banishers,
Ah,
Ghosts of New Eden.
you showed me
Uh,
this. I liked it.
yeah. No PS5 Pro patch, but on PS5 Pro it looks beautiful. Uh, it is a so the best way I can describe the gameplay is think the God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnaroks. So running around third person sad dad simulator. This one takes place in New England of the think Salem time frame, except you're not in Salem, Massachusetts. Um, you are a couple of banishers, aka ghost hunters, investigating a town that has become cursed because of an event. I don't want to spoil anything beyond that, but the gameplay is very solid. It gets pretty old, or the game. So combat itself is enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great fluidity to it. It's always engaging. You can upgrade. You can customize your character so you can fit it to your gameplay style. Exploration and side questing is probably part of its weakest parts. I did not enjoy it. But the story itself, I don't understand why anybody would not like this story because actually, um, you may take it as a hot take. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. Um,
Yeah.
I I think it drives you to want to see the end, um, and it's one of those games that I recommend you check it out. And if you don't like it, get off the interstate. That's fine, but definitely pick it up on a sale. Just don't go for the platinum unless you're really into that kind of game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're not having fun with the game, don't go for the platinum. I if I'm burnt out on a game, I probably will put it down. I'll power through for a little bit, but if I'm not having fun, I'm moving on. Not getting the
Hmm.
platinum. You showed me this game. It looked really cool. It's on my list. I really want to play it. I really want to play it.
Yeah, swimming in sevens. Metacritic is a 78, IGN is a 7,
Mm,
and ironically, Steam is a 9. So I'm wondering if the PC port got better
interesting.
love later.
Huh. Yeah, Forspoken was the same way. I think Forspoken got like 60 or something
Oh, that's a
crazy.
crime.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. It was fine. Let's see. Next game. I waited to play this game. I wanted to play it on launch, but I waited because I'll sometimes wait, especially if I read up on the game, if it's like broken or, I'll wait for a patch or two. Like I'm sitting on Shadows right now. I bought it. I wanted to support the dev, but I'm waiting. This game, though, one of the classics from the PS1, remade from Bloober Team. This is Silent Hill 2. And this game was fucking awesome. I love survival horror games. I streamed this game. I stream all my games. This one I streamed on mic with comments. Usually I'm a silent streamer. Didn't silent stream for Silent Hill, which is weird, but loved this game. Didn't finish the original back in the day. Played it, didn't finish it. I heard it's very true to the original from what I played. It is very true to the original, but then I kind of passed that point of when uh, where I got to and was like, oh, this is all new to me. Incredible survival horror game. Psychologically scary as fuck. Very atmospheric. It's a third person survival horror. You play as James in Silent Hill. Amazing game. If you're into the survival horror genre, this one is for you. It'll fuck with your mind. It's got an incredible story, very dramatic, sad story. Won't go into any spoilers, but if you play the original and you want to play the remake does it justice. Silent Hill 2. Yes, I got the platinum as well. it it had a speedrun trophy, which I can't stand speedrun trophies, and they usually are the platinum killers for me. Loved this game so much. I was like, why not? I'll platinum. I'll do a run, a speed run, and then I'll do a run for all the collectibles. Or no, I'll do a collectible run and then I'll do a speed run. I ended up combining those because I speed ran it right after I played it, so I knew the game pretty well. I got the platinum. There's 8 endings. Thankfully, you can do the endings without save scumming. You can do the ending. You can do 4 of the endings and then another like 2 on different saves. But there are some endings that you have to do specific things throughout the entire game. But thankfully, I got the platinum legit within 2 runs. So, Silent Hill 2, amazing psychological thriller, made originally by Konami. Very scary game. I played it in the dark with my 83-inch OLED. It was awesome. And I wouldn't say I got scared. I don't really get scared, but there were some jump scares where I kind of like squealed a little bit. So very psychological in the vein of Alan Wake. It's funny because Alan Wake took a lot from the original Silent Hill, but the remake took a lot from Alan Wake's gameplay. And they did a very, very good job with this remake. So highly recommend Silent Hill 2. That was a fun February game. One of 4 February games.
Hey, you know what?
I've been busy.
Yeah. Silent Hill, man. I played the originals and I loved them, but there's something about that remake that sets my anxiety 20 years
Mhm.
later through the roof. I'll play it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I gotta do it in chunks. Otherwise, I start just getting that uneasy feeling, and just I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to stop because I'm gonna freak out.
I got nightmares. You
All
play it
right.
in the dark with your Astros too.
I might do that. I might do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Uh, damn. I'm
I
glad you
recommend it. You
I'm
should play
glad,
it.
dude. Yeah, it's on there. PS5 Pro will be the way I play it.
Yep, that's another reason I waited to play it on the Pro and waited for some patches.
Well, I guess so. My next game is very much. I could do an entire podcast on this game alone. Um,
We
and that
may.
yeah, you never know. And that would be 2K's launch this year. As we know, 2K is got their hands in Borderlands 4, as well as what we've got with the monster that's going to be GTA 6. But they own a small. I say small, but they own a little development studio you might have heard of called Firaxis. Um, and this year was the launch of Civilization 7,
Yep.
one of my most anticipated games in the early part of the year. I knew going into this, what my expectations were to be, um, because any Civilization game that comes out at launch is always divisive within the community for the last several iterations. This was the first one that was multi-platform on launch. Civilization 6 did come out onto other platforms, but this one was the first one. But that was post launch. This was the first one, day one launch, to include the Switch, which I still can't believe they actually managed to pull off. What can I say about this game?
Dang.
It is a huge change to the Civilization 4X genre, and what I mean by 4X, it's literally called it's like exploration, extermination, expansion, and I don't remember what the last one is. Somebody's gonna stab me, um, but it is turn based. It's like a board game. Really, is the best way to describe it. This one you play as you go through, and you're building a civilization and you're trying to achieve a certain level of victory, whether that's a scientific, a cultural, so on and so forth. This one changed things up. Instead of just doing from start to finish and whoever achieves their first victory is good to go, they did it in what was called eras. You had the ancient, and then you are ancient, exploration, and then the modern age, or eras as they call them. So you could skyrocket yourself in the ancient era and do really well, but you would never achieve a true victory until the modern age. That's the only time you could achieve a true victory, and that was really cool. I liked it. Civilizations were not attached, or leaders were not attached to certain civilizations. So there's a great customization out there. There's all different kinds of little mechanical things about builders and the way the map is done and stuff like that that really made a lot of splashes. There were some concerns though because it ran like crap across all platforms
I
on
heard.
initial launch, particularly when you got into late game. My PlayStation 5 was crashing every couple of turns, so it kind of
Damn.
yeah, it was kind of irritating. There were some other issues with design itself, such as not being able to do a unlimited afterwards, what they call one more turn mode. So when you complete the game and you're like, hey, somebody achieved victory, well, let's continue to just play for the sake of playing, right? That wasn't in there. There's no hot seat, which is a huge contention with some of the people I know.
Yeah.
So there's some things that need to be cleaned up. And that launched in February, and as of the end of April here, there was another patch. And based
That's
on the
cool.
patch, and based on the patch notes, they are definitely cooking. I just think it was
Good.
underbaked out the gate, which is why I didn't buy the deluxe super edition. But definitely, if you like your strategy games or you like your 4X games in the vein of Heroes and Might and Magic and things like that, definitely give Civ 7 a chance. It is a different beast from your traditional civs, but it is beautiful and it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you were very excited for this game. I never got into the Civilization games. I know you put a lot of time into 6, and you're kind of a beast in Civilization. I never got into them.
I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm
What,
curious
you have
what.
like 400 hours in 6?
Well, let's see what PSN profile says, right?
Right?
Um, Civilization
While you look that up, I'll
6.
yeah. Oh,
I have 82 of 98 trophies.
yeah,
Um,
that's
which is not
and you have
including
the
some
platinum,
DLC.
right? You have the
Yep, one of them
platinum.
is
Yeah.
platinum. I'd say no more turns. Ultra rare, 0.2%
Phew,
of
yeah,
players.
that's
Um,
rare.
and it doesn't show my playtime on here, but
No,
last time,
you gotta see that on PS5.
yeah, but as far as last time I checked, I've got over 400 hours in
Yeah,
Civilization
that's
6.
impressive, impressive. Yeah, I never got into Civilization. Never really got into the 4X games, honestly. So,
It takes a certain mind. I totally understand.
oh,
It's
yeah.
like it's just like any other genre.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, the next game I have in the vein of one of my favorite genres, again, it's a Metroidvania. Shocker, the game after that is a Metroidvania too. I'm really into Metroidvanias. This game was announced at the Game Awards, I believe 2 years ago, free on, well, not free, included with the PS Plus subscription, and it really caught my eye. It's Tales of Kinzara Zao. It's a Metroidvania. It's about this African boy going around collecting masks to try and get into the uh, death realm. you could say, and it's got a lot of African inspiration. I'd say it's a lot like Black Panther. It's like a Black Panther Metroidvania. Really fun combat. It's not one of my favorite Metroidvanias. It was a great game. I'd recommend it. I'd certainly recommend it for a first Metroidvania if you ever want to dip your toes into the genre. It's a very easy game, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was cool. I liked it, and it had a really cool story. Really quick. I did it. I think yes, I did platinum this game too. I think I did it in like 15 hours, but really, really cool bite-sized Metroidvania. And I call it the baby's first Metroidvania because it is a really easy game. You played it too.
It
You were one of the reasons I think I played this. You were like, "No, you should play it. It's good."
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get any trophies, so I deleted it off my list. I only got short into it, but I could tell you based on the like that small snippet,
Yeah.
definitely worth it.
Yep. It was a fun Metroidvania. How many times I'm going to say Metroidvania? It was very fun. I liked it. I recommend it for your first dip into this genre. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm
quick and
glad you
easy
enjoyed.
one.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
I was really sad, especially since the I don't remember his name, but the creator was at the Game Awards this last year. So I'm glad to
Yeah, that's
see.
super cool.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely glad you enjoyed that one.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I guess my next one, I'm gonna skip one because I know you're gonna mention my next game on this list, and
Oh, okay.
I want to give you the flowers because you're the one who introduced me to it.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
you know where I'm going with that. So I'll stick with my next one. Was a game that came out last year. I'm waiting for the physical release at some point, but eventually, after a certain point in time, I go, enough is enough. It's calling to me. I'm going to come back to it. I got distracted by other games, but that's going to be Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2
Mm.
Remaster.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
these are 3D platformer games from the PS1 era. So they very much have PS1. I don't want to say jank on them, but they've got that style that's associated.
Seasoning.
Seasoning, that's a good way to put it.
PS1 seasoning, I guess.
Seasoning, especially the first one. It is very early PS1 time frame. Uh, I say that, but in reality, they're not because Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 1 and 2 came out before that, and those are really rough early PS1 games. But I digress. The point is, these games are typical PlayStation 1 3D platformers. The worlds feel somewhat empty, and the gameplay is where it shines. The gameplay and the story is where it shines.
Mm.
Um, these games were some of the first games where you could feel the ability to impale somebody. Like you can just pick up a spear or something, and you have to fight a vampire, and the only way you could kill it was to spear it through the heart. So you can literally launch, and you can kill somebody that way, or you can a vampire that way, or you're doing it this way. And then the other, not with going into too much on the spoilers, if you're a kind of gamer who plays games not for the necessarily the gameplay, but you like the lore, the people that do the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff and dig into the lore of Minecraft, seeing things like that, I highly, highly recommend Legacy of Kain. In fact, I recommend not only Soul Reaver but Blood Omen, which are the prequels to these, because Soul Reaver takes place, and you don't have to. Soul Reaver, you can just pick up and play, and you'll kind of get a little bit of backstory. But if you really want to know the full backstory, and you like that gothic aesthetic that comes in with vampires and ancient gods, and humans are kind of just the people that are there that are fodder, I definitely recommend it. There's a lot to it, a lot of fun, and really it has more character than it does gameplay.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm very excited for this remaster, when it comes physical. I have it pre-ordered. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. I don't know
Oh,
when the fuck I'm gonna play it, but I'm excited to play it again. So,
I
yeah, it's a
want I want the
classic.
I want the physical.
Yeah, yep. You can get it on Best Buy right now. It was limited or to limited run, but you can get it on Best Buy. I'm excited for it.
Ooh, all right. I guess I know what I'm gonna fit into my purchases this year.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It should still be available too. Uh, let's see. My next game surprised us all when Ubisoft announced it. I already played it on launch. I revisited it earlier this year for the DLC, the Mask of Darkness. But this is one of the best AAA Metroidvanias. I'd say it's top 5 for me. It's really good. It's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I played the DLC, Mask of Darkness. Yeah, really good. I platinumed it a long time ago. I wanted to 100% it, and I wanted to finally revisit the game for the DLC. Uh, was it free? No, I don't think it was free. I think it was very cheap though. Uh, and the DLC was really cool. A lot of crazy platforming challenges and puzzles. And man, this game has amazing combat. It is a triple A Metroidvania made by or published by Ubisoft. The developer escapes my mind right now, but incredible Metroidvania. It didn't. They're not doing a sequel. They disbanded the team. I don't know why. It got really good ratings. It was a really good game, but I guess Metroidvanias they don't gain enough traction with people. So
Yeah, it sucks.
it was so good though.
Ubisoft Montpellier is
Yeah,
the
Montpellier.
yeah,
Yep.
Ubisoft owned, but yeah,
Yep.
I agree with you. That game was I got the platinum as well.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, it's no Sands of Time, but it's a Metroidvania and it's a damn good one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in my top 5. It's really fucking good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's saying a lot considering all of those games
Right.
that are out there.
Oh yeah, a ton of Metroidvanias, even the old pixel art ones I have, and it's like my top genre. That has a lot of weight when I say this is in my top 5 when it comes to a Metroidvania that released last year. Like that's huge. They did a
Yep.
really good job on it. So
Yeah.
last year or the year before, I forget, but really good. Highly recommended.
Well, it's funny you mentioned your favorite of a genre, or your genre being Metroidvanias. My next game comes out of my favorite genre, and that's the classic RPGs,
Yeah,
JRPGs. This was my, I think this was my April. It might have been my March platinum. I'd have to go
this
look
is an
again.
impressive one too.
This would be the MediaVision developed and PlayStation published RPG Wild Arms.
Hell yeah.
Very the to take you back a little bit. Yes, I grew up with the earlys. I had the NES. I played Atari. I had a SNES, all that. But there was a point in my life where there was a without getting too in depth, but there was a point where I had almost a reset, if you will, in my life of where I was living, who I was with, and I was with my mom, and it was Christmas, coming up on Christmas time, and she didn't know what to get me, and somebody helped her out and gave her a PlayStation 1 with a bunch of games for really cheap. There was some awesome games in there. One of them was Beyond the Beyond, not a really good RPG, but it was an early PS1 RPG. And then there was this game called Wild Arms, and I had no clue what I was in for. Let me tell you, if you like JRPGs, you need to stop what you're doing and play this game. Very simple, three-person party. Each one of those party members is unique. The combat system is unique. It doesn't tell you a lot. You have to figure it out, but the combat system is unique. The music is the shining star of this game. Absolutely shining star. The music is what really drives emotion, and I'm telling you, this game, I hear the music in my head and I almost shed a tear. It is quite
Nice.
frankly one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Um, I could gush and probably do an entire episode on this. The story is
Maybe
very
we
much
will.
yeah, you never know. The story is very much one of those wild, rides where you're like,
Eh.
"Okay, I think I know what's going on," and by the end, you got the trope of you're literally fighting kinda God situation.
Mhm.
Um, the platinum was a nightmare, and then I will say if anybody that wants to play this, there are 2 ways to play it. You can play it very traditional, or because they knew people would do it anyways, they ported it over and didn't fix it. There is a certain glitch in the game that will allow you to fundamentally really break the game. And when I say break the game, you'll break it up until you have to fight the super boss. And
Mm.
then if you're not prepared, you're going to get handed over the table and get beat down like you're in a Soulsborne. So yeah, that's Wild Arms. I could gush all day about it. Definitely, if you like RPGs, go play it.
Hell
And it's
yeah.
on PlayStation Plus, so if you have premium, you can just download it.
Included. Very cool. That's a callback. for sure. That game originally was multi-disc on PS1, right?
No, it was a single disc game.
Single disc? Okay. Yeah.
Beyond the Beyond and Wild Arms was single disc. Final Fantasy VII is what really broke off to the multi-disc
Oh, yeah.
realm.
3
Um,
discs.
well, I say that, but I'd have to look to see between that and Legend of Legaia which one came out first. I don't remember.
Mm.
Legend of Legaia is another game that I could go on and on about, but I digress.
Yeah, classic RPGs, man. Wild Arms is one of the greats. I haven't played it. I need to. It sounds like. Uh, Maybe I'll wait on the remake if that ever comes. Uh, this next one, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Astrobot. I did all the DLC. I platinumed that a long time ago. Astrobot, game of the year, amazing. Not my game of the year. It was Rebirth was my game of the year. It would have been my game of the year if it wasn't for Rebirth, but it got game of the year at the Game Awards. Uh, Astrobot, awesome, amazing 3D platformer. I played. They keep releasing free DLC, so I played that. I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Team Asobi, keep it coming, man. Amazing game. This next one is a two-parter. A little game came out in February called Monster Hunter Wilds, and we both played this. And Monster Hunter is a co-op third-person hunting game. You hunt monsters, you and then you wear their flesh as armor, and you create weapons out of them. And it's really fun co-op. Uh, Wilds changed the game. Very good entry level Monster Hunter, and also platinum this game. Uh, so the platinum on this game, this is actually a game I'm going to talk about when we get into what we're playing. The platinum on this game, there are crowns for each monster, and the each monster has a size, and they can spawn into the game or level at a specific size. And I think there's like a variant of 30 sizes, right? If the biggest one spawns in, it's a giant. If the smallest one spawns in, it's a mini. And you have to basically go on these treks and monster fights. And if you kill the mini one, you get the crown. Well, for the platinum, you have to get every mini crown and every giant crown for every monster. And there's about 30 monsters in Monster Hunter Wilds. So Monster Hunter Wilds came out with the mechanic where you can actually scope the monster, see if it's a crown with the binoculars, right? And so they made it a little easier. But I gathered up some friends. Shout out to Burrito Supreme and Admiral Merps. We were the crown hunters, and we basically got together and we crown hunted, and you could save them as investigations. So you can basically save the crown and then say, "Hey, I got a crown, hop in." So there's a total of like 60 crowns, right? Or something like that. We all three got the platinum. After I got that platinum for Monster Hunter Wilds, I said, "Hey, you know what's a really what sounds like a really fun, good idea? Let's go back to Monster Hunter World that released like 7 years ago because that's a white whale platinum for me. That game, I put it down because so it had the same trophies, it had the same crown trophies, but this one you couldn't see the sizes. And the way you found out if it was a crown was you either had to stand beside it and gauge its size or kill it and figure out if it was a crown. And we're talking these crown spawn rates are like 6% per monster. And I said, "Hey guys, you want to do this? Let's get together and crown hunt on Monster Hunter World." And that's what we fucking did. Another shout out to both of those people, Admiral Merps, Burrito Supreme. We tackled the crown trophies in Monster Hunter World, and that was way harder than Wilds. And like I said, I put it down about 7 years ago. I'm happy to say I finally got the platinum in Monster Hunter World,
Dude,
and
that's amazing, man. Congratulations.
it's like a 0.3 percenter. It's crazy. And so I got the platinum on Wilds and World. A huge Monster Hunter fan. I main the bow class. Love it. I'm long range, and I debuff the monsters. I stream it all the time. Recently played it, but yeah, went back to World, and I gotta say, dude, the quality of life on World uh, is it pairs in comparison to what they added to Wilds. Like
Okay.
World was great, and it compared to the previous versions, they added a lot of quality of life. But man, Wilds added a lot, and going from Wilds to World, it was a little rough. It was a little rough. So
I
yeah, I platinumed it in about 110 hours, and then I went back to World and spent another 100 hours in World to platinum it. I'm an insane person. I had a ton of fun though, and it was cool. We were just on mic, hanging out, hunting crowns. So I had a blast. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I got those 2 platinums.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah.
remember when Wilds was coming out, and I was on the fence, and I think it was you that actually said,
Yep.
"Hey, well, you can spine dance down a monster," and I was like, "What?" And then
Yep.
looked it up, and I was like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Mhm.
Um, and that's
Yep,
where I
and now
went
you
with dual
main
blading.
dual blades, and we played together, and you're pretty far in it. You just hit high rank, and I'm excited to play more.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there. When is
Yeah.
the question?
When? Right?
Uh, but yeah, speaking of, so my next game, I did not get the platinum on because its sequel comes out later this year, and I did not want to give myself a burnout. This game, to give you a
Mm.
little bit of backstory, when it originally came out, I started and I dipped out before I should have. I don't know if it was
Yeah,
my
you did.
mood, if it was what it was. Right? There was like a multitude of things. And then I finally came back to it this year, and I regret ever leaving the station, or ever getting off the highway, should I say. And that would be Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Yeah.
Um, as a self-proclaimed Kojima fanboy, um, where if there's a Kojima game that I can find a way to play, outside of the couple of the classics that I can't get my hands on, such as Police Knots, um, I will be there. I will show up for it. Metal Gear Solid was a seminal game for me. It is actually probably the start of having these deep dive conversations about games, is where that originates from. So definitely keep it up, Kojima. Death Stranding is, quite frankly, a walking simulator.
Yeah.
But it is a walking simulator that tells a story in a way that always keeps you questioning and always keeps you wondering, and it keeps you just on the hook long enough to crave for the next piece. Um, and let's quite frankly, I'm not going to spoil. Everybody sees Norman Reedus on the cover, so spoilers: Norman Reedus is in the game.
Yeah.
But there are so many cameos in that game. If you have been paying attention to the video game industry for the last 20 years, and not just that, the entertainment industry, there
Right.
was a cameo I saw. I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be a cameo, but for my mind, it's a cameo that you were like, "What are you talking about?" And I showed you. Um,
Oh, yeah.
uh, and it was like, "Holy shit, that you caught that, but you missed this other one." Yeah, that was
Right.
me. Um,
Yeah.
it is quite frankly a walking simulator. You can play the game, once it opens up, you can play the game in multitude of ways, and quite honestly, outside of the required combats, I played that game about as passively as I could.
And that's
Um,
how it's supposed to be played.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're once again, if you're another lore person, this is another good game for that. If you it runs so beautiful on the PS5 Pro. Quite frankly, it is one of the more beautiful games I've seen, particularly on the PS5 Pro. Uh, I could go on and on about this game, but that's because once again, I'm the self-proclaimed Kojima fanboy. But if you have not played Death Stranding, go do yourself a favor, pick up a copy, and just go ahead and play it. Get past the first 5 hours or so, past the first part of the map, and then once you're past that, you're going to see the game becomes a completely different beast. And I guarantee you, you'll be enthralled.
I'm so glad you finally beat this game because you're a huge Kojima fan, huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and I think we started talking about Death Stranding. You're like, "Oh, I haven't beat it," and I'm like, "Dude, you what?" And I made the impact so much that you're like, "Oh my god, okay, I'll play it. I'll play it." I'm so glad you played it. It was my game of the year in 2019. Uh, talk about storytelling on another level. And yes, it's a walking simulator, but it's so much more than that. The story's amazing. We're getting the sequel in 2 months. I'm so glad you played this.
Yeah,
So you'll go for that
absolutely.
platinum one day.
One day, we'll see. Um, Maybe I do On the Beach first, 'cause,
Oh
that
yeah,
might be
yeah,
my June or slash July, should I say.
yep, yep. On the Beach is my July game for sure. It's releasing late June, pre-ordered, day one. I fucking love Death Stranding. It's just Kojima at its finest. So
It is
yeah,
the most Kojima game of Kojima games.
yeah, yeah. It's him unshackled by any publisher. He created and published the game. Well, I guess created and had free reign, but PlayStation partnered. It's a second party game, and Kojima Productions. He created that, and man, he just had free reign, and you can tell that man's a genius.
Mhm.
I
Uh,
just so good.
what I say about, Death Stranding is the same thing I say about, to understand Kojima, you look at Death Stranding, and then you look at Metal Gear Solid 2. Because when he was done with MGS2, he was done with the series, but he couldn't get away from it,
Right,
and he was shackled to it for the longest time, and you can go look at that history, right? Sh Metal Gear Solid 2's ending was changed because he saw something, that happened, a little thing I don't know if you've heard of it called September 11th, 2001. Um,
yeah. I was
and
in
he
high
saw
school.
yeah, he saw that and went, "Oh shit, this is my game coming to life." And what's really good about Metal Gear Solid 2, and I'm sorry to be on a tangent here, is that game's themes actually translate into what we have today and what I've always thought. And then you look at what Death Stranding's themes are and what it's surrounding, and you have to look at it from an artistic standpoint, not surface level. You say, "Holy shit, he's saying it again. He's saying what's going on in society, the things that nobody wants to say, he's openly saying." And then you realize maybe Kojima's possibly a time traveler.
Dude, Death Stranding came out in 2019, and he talked about how everyone was isolated and the world was kind of you couldn't go out in the world, and then fucking COVID happened. Like what? Yeah, that man is a time traveler.
Ah, yeah,
Death Stranding
absolutely.
2, super excited for it. But yeah, I'm so glad you played that and you finished it, you completed it. So yeah, we talked at length about that game over a few beers.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
And we'll have many more come June and July.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, dude, and we'll be on the same level now too. Like we'll be like, what the fuck is going on up until like the end of the game, and then we'll be like, oh, it makes sense. It all makes sense now.
No, it won't. There'll be a three-part.
Right. That's true. Maybe. Yeah, it could be a trilogy. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Uh yeah. Death Stranding, man. That's a just a gem. Go play it if you haven't played it. It's awesome. My next game I revisited. It was a game I revisited on the Pro. I played it on launch. Very excited for it. Shift Up Games created a little game called Stellar Blade, and I saved my New Game Plus run and my trophy cleanup for the Pro. And it got a Pro patch. And man, what can I say about this game? It's a third person, high octane action adventure. You play as a very attractive female uh, robot, I guess. Uh, and yeah, like an android. They say that in the beginning. Um, just amazing game. High octane combat. It's a Souls light. It's pretty tough, not as tough as Black Myth Wukong, but this is the game I was going to say should have got nominated in place of Black Myth Wukong. I played both of them to completion. I platinumed this game as well. I played it on the Pro to platinum it, to play the New Game Plus to get that trophy. But yeah, Cyberpunk, a lot of Matrix references. One of my favorite movies of all time. You play as this android chick, and uh, very, very awesome combat and a very, very cool story. Gorgeous too. Gorgeous game. Couldn't I can't recommend it enough. Stellar Blade, Shift Up Games, second party PlayStation game. Uh, Amazing game. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Platinumed it. So yep.
So glad you jumped in on that one, man.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I
That
played it
would
on launch. I had it pre-ordered. Loved the very first trailer. I was like, oh man, I'm all in on this game. Uh, but then yeah, I revisited on the Pro, and man, it runs beautifully on the Pro. That PSSR, mm, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or what is it?
I I would have to go look. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I haven't
something like that.
definitely, yeah. I'm not that good on acronyms. I've spent 20 years
Yeah,
dealing with them. Yeah,
we'll try.
absolutely. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
The question is, which costume was your main?
Ooh, I like the keyhole one. It
Mm,
was very, very short skirt on her. And if you play this, you'll know. Very short skirt. Yeah. I like the keyhole one and the one you get at the end. I don't want to spoil
okay.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a there's something about, you remember, Austin Powers, Goldmember?
Yeah.
When he's like, "How do you fit into those pants?" Needless to say, you know which skin was my favorite now. Something about that denim, man. Woo!
Yep. Yep. This game was also heavily inspired by Near Automata, and it has Near DNA all through it, and you can clearly see it was inspired. So
Ooh.
that's another uh, very awesome reason you should play it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't played Nier Automata, go drop what you're doing and play that.
Yeah, 100%. I was late on that game too, but I finally played it and platinumed it. I fucking love that game. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, alright, well, I've been holding off, so I'm gonna steal this one from you, brother. Sorry,
Okay. No way.
because
No
I
worries.
I jumped into or we finished it together.
Yes,
Um,
we did.
yep. This is my last big game outside of what we're currently playing for the year. I've got a few others I can talk about, and that would be Hazelight Studios' Split Fiction.
Mm,
Uh, this is my introduction into Hazelight. I've known about them for a while. I did try to play the It Takes Two, but I just never had a person to play with me. Um,
we
I
will.
tried. I had my wife play with me for the first couple of minutes of It Takes Two, or Split Fiction, and she dipped out on me. Needless to say, this is a couch co-op game to its roots. It's a co-op game at its core, but in its roots, it's a couch co-op. You can play online. What's really great about Hazelight is if you buy a copy, you can give your friends a friend's copy where they
So
basically can
cool.
play. They can play the game with you for free. They don't own it. They can get trophies. They can do all of that. They just can't boot up the game themselves and play it by themselves.
Right.
This game requires co-op. What can I say about this game that you know what? I'll leave it to you like this. Despite there being other games that we're playing right now, despite the games that are on this list and that we played that have recently released this year, Split Fiction right now, as of April 2025 or May when you guys hear this, is my game of the year. Uh, the designs that you get out of the creativity that comes out of there, and particularly without spoiling, the last level, the designing and how you do that should be taught in video game or in those development courses that you receive online.
Yeah.
It needs to be studied because what they did there is so amazing and can only be done on the PS5 Pro. I'm sorry.
I
No,
still don't understand how they did it.
yeah, I have no clue.
So
That was
we're
my
thinking about doing a spoiler cast just to talk about that last level.
oh god.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, we could do a spoiler cast on that whole game.
Yeah, it was
But yeah,
nuts.
But yeah, you play as two different characters that are in that game. One writes fantasy, the other one writes sci-fi fiction stories, and they're basically going through their worlds and going through their subconscious and exploring the stories that they've created against evil corporation. I'll leave it that as that.
Mhm.
It takes about what do we say about 12 to 15 hours to get through the everything.
15? Yeah.
Yeah, 15 for a platinum.
Yeah.
So absolutely. If you've got a partner that's complaining about you playing video games all the time, pick up a second controller and have them play Split Fiction with you. I promise you will not be disappointed.
Yep. Hazelight makes the best co-op games. They started with A Way Out, and then went to It Takes Two, and now my favorite of the three, Split Fiction. Just incredible game. Level design, the variety. We played some couch co-op. We played some online co-op. Had a blast, man. And we popped this platinum together. It was very fun. It's very good. Yeah. I don't know if it's my game of the year.
Oh, I know why though.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And we're
I don't
getting
blame
there.
you.
We're getting there. It's so hard to say game of the year this early in because Doom's coming out. We got Death Stranding, right? But so far, uh, it is my game of the year. But until I finish the one I'm playing now, I think it might top it. So
Okay.
yeah, Split Fiction, amazing, incredible co-op. Some of the best. It was really fun, really fun. Kind of wrapping up mine. It's kind of a two-parter, a little bit. There's this game I've been playing, came out a long time ago. I got pretty tired of it for a little bit, and it was kind of my game that I would play in between other games in chunks. That's Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Uh, the amount of fucking collectibles in this game is staggering. It's like 2,000 collectibles on no, it's like 3 or 4,000, 2,000 just for the bricks, and it took me about 100 hours to platinum, and I couldn't do it in one like. I had to put it down for a little bit, play other games, and then I picked it up. But man, it's a really fun Lego game. I finally platinumed that. Very fun co-op. You can do it. It's only couch co-op. You can't do it online. But yeah, really fun. I love Lego Star Wars. I wanted some more Star Wars, and I was like, hey, you know what? There's another game I wanted to revisit on the Pro, and that's Jedi Survivor. So I played
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I played it on launch. It was a little broken at launch. Played it, finished it, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to wait for either new hardware or more patches to complete this game because it was pretty broken. The frame rate was bad. I'm happy to say on the Pro it runs much better and looks much better. And I loved this game. This is a really good Jedi game. It's a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, so I revisited that on the Pro. It's a third person action adventure Star Wars game where you're a Jedi. It's a Souls light, you know. So when you die, you lose your shit, and the checkpoints they'll respawn enemies, and you have a finite amount of healing items that respawn with the checkpoints. So it's a Souls light, really fun game, really cool story. If you like Star Wars, you'll love this game. So I revisited that and platinum that. And that was the final game before the current game I'm playing, which I'll let you talk about yours first.
Yeah. So I guess we'll transition.
Yeah. So that,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That cuts the year of 2025
Yep.
so far. There's some more in there. You can go look at our PSN profiles. I've got some
Yeah.
smaller games that I dipped my toes in. Um, Nothing to speak of. When you get 8% of the trophies or whatever, it's not really worth talking about because you haven't
Right.
fully played the game to speak in depth, right?
Crazy
Um,
concept.
yeah, one of them I have purposely avoided because if I talk about it now, I know I'm gonna get some people to come at me with the, pitchforks.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah. Once you finish that, we'll talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Once you
yeah,
finish. Yeah.
we'll get there when I get time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so what we're playing, moving on to the other half of this, more current
Yeah. That
news.
main topic. We're 3 hours in. Oh, well. We like talking games.
If you
You have it for a week. You can listen to it in chunks.
Absolutely. You do not have to listen to us, ramble on
No,
in one
no.
full
You
lacking,
got a
but
lot of good content here.
yeah. So there were 2 games recently announced. One of them was shadow dropped, the other one was scheduled. Um, I took the shadow dropping of it because when it comes to splitting the hairs, it was the winner, and I'll explain. And that's the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster.
You did it.
Um, it was between this and your game. Unfortunately, to understand when Oblivion came out in 2006, I was at a point in my life where things were in flux. From a full disclosure, I was in the middle of the desert. I was away from my wife who was pregnant with our child. Um, I didn't know what was going on in this world. I was a young guy. But there was one thing I did have, and I was managed to sneak over an Xbox 360 and get my hands on Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And let me tell you, if I was not at the gym or sitting on a 12-hour shift, I was absolutely giggity balls deep in this game. Uh, the the way I can describe Oblivion, it is the most Bethesda game of Bethesda games. um, and people would probably already know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen the videos, the little TV TikToks or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, whatever that looks like on your end, and seeing. Um, it is a Bethesda produced game. The specifically, well, rather I should say about the remake made by Virtuous. Is the developer, published by Bethesda Game Studios, who's now part of Microsoft. So Microsoft has actually eaten PlayStation's lunch because I bought this and played it on the PlayStation, PS5
Right.
Pro. Um, with all of that in mind, this remake is the most Oblivion of Bethesda style games. Uh, it has some performance issues, from my understanding, particularly on PC. Uh, I can't say I've had the same issues with PS5 Pro. I have been all but locked in 60 frames per second, buttery smooth on performance mode. It is a open world RPG, very much defined what, and I understand Morrowind came before, but this is the crescendo that produces what defines a Western RPG. You are a nameless individual, and you build your character, and you find yourself. And for the record, this is all within the tutorial stage. The tutorial, as far as I'm concerned, if you're worried about that spoiler, you can skip ahead a few minutes. If not, it's all in the tutorial everybody's talked about it for 20 years, right? You are a nameless prisoner who who is in a cell within the kingdom of Tamriel, specifically within the capital of Cyrodiil. Um, the guards show up. It's supposed to be empty, and there stands the Emperor. The guards immediately want to kill you, but the Emperor says, "No, I recognize your face. You are the one of my dreams." Which, by the way, subject aside, the character creator is next level. People have already made the
It's better,
JD.
yeah.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
they've
I've
made
seen the memes.
yeah, the JD Fance meme has been made. It's amazing. But yeah, once you go through the tutorial, the Emperor asks you some questions. You build out some of the things about your character, such as which sign you're born under, which is constellation. You eventually figure out what class you're part of, and then you have to go find this Emperor's heir. And help literally stop the gates of oblivion or the gates of hell from closing in on the realm. Um, what I can say is it runs buttery smooth. I am playing
Really?
a yeah, 60 frames per second on performance.
Okay.
There's some shader issues when you load up into a into the overworld from like a dungeon or whatever. You saw it when I loaded up on your screen, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I've having an absolute time with this. All of the old school Bethesda Oblivion jank still exists. I remember specifically, or rather recently, because I'm going a stealth assassin build. Um, so you hide and then you stab people, and it's like, oh, one shot them,
It's
right?
a good build.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I got a dagger that was enchanted that dealt lightning damage. I picked it up off of somebody and I was like, ooh, this should be fun. I immediately went up behind somebody and stabbed him and hit him with the one shot. The problem is the lightning damage effect took procced after the damage of the dagger. So they got hit with a bolt of lightning when they were already dead, and they immediately ragdolled into the air.
Oh,
And I
that's
went,
amazing.
"Oh, how am I supposed to get my loot now?" Because you get your um, so and that's okay. All of the
That
most of
Bethesda jank.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Most of the exploits are still in place. So if you really wanna break the game, you can go look up the tutorials if you'd like. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna spoil any of those gameplay mechanics, but you can break the game. Um, my only, outside of what you would call the, uh, performance issues, I only have one complaint with the game,
Mhm.
and that's the trophy list. This is easily gonna be my, um, May platinum. I fully suspect it. The
Yeah.
problem is I could probably spend another 200 hours in this game.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, even after the trophies? So the
Even
trophy
after the
list is
trophies.
easy? It's too
Yeah,
easy?
it's too easy.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
trophy list involves you doing the main quest, obviously, right? The
Yeah.
main storyline, doing the Thieves Guild, the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, the Arena, and the Dark Brotherhood.
Mhm.
And each one of those is a couple hours apiece, depending on how you're speed running it, right?
Right.
Um, the issue is you still have so many other side things you could do, such as what they call the Daedric artifacts or the Daedric quests. They give you really cool, unique items, things of that nature that are tied into the overall lore and experience that is Oblivion.
Yeah.
And my problem is that if I do this and then I get off the ramp, I'm gonna feel like I left a piece on the side of the road. Like I feel
Right.
like I'm gonna leave something aside.
Right.
So maybe I can go back to it and just have fun with it. Um, but yeah, they mixed up, they fixed everything that was an issue with Oblivion, such as the leveling system, the OG, such as leveling
Mhm.
system, that's been fixed. It looks beautiful compared to the original, but yet it still has some of that Oblivion jank. It's in Unreal 5, which I think actually played into its strengths because we can see the cracks of Unreal 5, but that's
Oh, yeah.
kind of it. Yeah, this is one of those games that blends remaster and remake, simply because it is almost a remake, with the exception that they took the core files and Radiant AI system and then put Unreal 5 on top of it.
Okay.
So that way so it's kind of technically a remaster, but it's almost a remake because it's almost from the ground up, which you couldn't really do. And I'm telling you, man, the voice acting, all of the cheesiness is still there.
Awesome.
Um, I absolutely, if you like Fallout, if you like Skyrim, I highly, highly, highly recommend you give this a game. I have been laughing from and smiling from ear to ear. My you know, aside, my favorite thing I've seen so far is there's a remix of the guard who says like, "Stop! You have violated the law." And there's
Yeah,
a
I've seen
remix
that.
of like Eminem's music in the background. Uh,
Yep.
yeah, just go play it. Just know that if you're not careful, you could put 350 hours into this game, and you'll just be like, "Wait, what happened? I didn't realize that."
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome. It's
that's
a
Elder Scrolls.
classic.
Yeah, that's Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake. I could probably do an entire spoiler cast and sit here and talk for an hour.
Mhm.
But this is definitely, it's not my game of the year so far. But this is easily a comfort food, warm cup of warm hot chocolate on a winter day.
Yeah. It's a classic, man. Like, Elder Scrolls, it's one of the greats. I never got into it, but what you showed me, I can see the charm. I'm definitely not gonna play it. It's just a lot, and just the lore itself, man, and the fact that you, like, showed me you could, like, pick up all the books and every book you can read. I'm just like, "Holy shit." I respect it, just not for me.
Yeah,
So, and I'm
absolutely.
I'm glad you're having fun with it.
Yeah, there's some parts of it that I was wrong about. So when
Yeah.
I was I was telling you is you can actually go into, let's say you're looking through a chest, you can actually put items in the chest. You can store
Okay.
items. So that means you can actually take a potion, or not a potion, but a poison of some kind. So like a poison of damage, health, XYZ, right? One
Yeah.
shot somebody, and if your stealth is good enough, you can pocket them and then put the poison inside their pocket and then walk away.
Mhm.
Um,
That's awesome.
I've seen I've literally, well, you were there when I had the incident where I throw a fireball and it hits a town guard, and then he
Right.
starts screaming like a girl going, "Help me, I'm being attacked," and then immediately runs over to you and is like, "Stop, you have
Yeah.
violated the law," but he's still
Right.
on fire.
He's on fire. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen so many memes, dude, and this game is broke in the best way, and it's just a classic. I mean, it's not broke from a gameplay fundamental standpoint, but there's so many bugs, right? I mean, you showed me one of the clips where the voice clip of the lady like, "Oh, wait," she did the line and she's like, "Wait, let me do that again," and did the line again, and they kept it in, and I'm just like, "Man, that's awesome." I respect the charm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's 100% it. I could gush about
Yeah.
this game, just because of it was a time and place game for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, dude, it's cherished by a lot of people. I have a lot of respect for it. I just never got into the Elder Scroll games. Yeah.
Totally understand. My own
Yep.
I'm just sad that Virtuous is missing out on a lot of sales because if you
Right.
look at this if the it's on Game Pass, right?
Mhm.
Naturally, because it's a Bethesda game studio game, but
Yeah.
it topped 120,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Very cool. Uh, yeah, it's definitely a huge game. Are you gonna
Yeah,
platinum it before Doom comes out?
that's my goal.
Damn.
'Cause I've
Okay.
already gotten the Thieves Guild and the Mages Guild down,
Yeah.
and I have the start for the Dark Brotherhood,
Okay.
which was really fun because in order to start that, which is the assassins, you have to murder
Mhm.
somebody in cold blood. I
Damn.
got to a point into one of the quest lines where you knew the people there were gonna betray you,
Yeah.
but the game didn't tell you, so I walked up and started murdering everybody to make my escape easier, and then immediately said, "A dark force has been watching you," and I was like, "Oh, shit, here we go," and
Yep,
started the Dark Brotherhood climb.
I heard that quest line is goated, the Dark Brotherhood, and you get all the good shit.
I mean, quite frankly, the Thieves Guild, the Fighters Guild, the Mage, all of them are goated compared to Skyrim. If you like
Yeah.
Skyrim, play Oblivion. You
Yeah.
will be Danny DeVito going, "Oh, I finally get it."
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, they shadow dropped this. Shadow dropped the shit out of it. I mean, it was pretty, leaked and rumored, but they shadow dropped. They announced it and shadow dropped it 2 fucking days before the game I'm playing. And let's get into that one. Oh man, what can I say? First of all, yeah, Microsoft showed off this game and they were championing it and behind it. They showed it off at one of their developer directs. And yeah, 2 days before releasing it on Game Pass, they release Oblivion. And I'm just like, dude, what are you guys doing? You're cannibalizing your sales. Come on, man. Uh, the moment I saw this game announced, the trailer, I believed in it. I saw the passion and the love that was put into this game. I had so much faith in it, and I was like, this is going to be a fucking gem of a game. And I pre-ordered it. I bought it day one a week ago, and I haven't been able to put it down. I put 25 hours into it, and this game is Clair Obscure Expedition 33. And holy shit, dude. Uh, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to talk about the game very vaguely. I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I'll talk about the stuff that was in the teaser trailer, but that's about it. This is a return to form turn based RPG. The UI is a lot like Persona, and it was presented as kind of like a Final Fantasy, right? It has a French setting. It's post-apocalyptic, and this paintress, she paints a number every year, and during that year the person of that age dies. And this was in the teaser trailer. But that's kind of like the concept, and you're on an expedition, and this expedition is 33 and it counts down. So it was 34, now it's 33, and it continues counting down. So the oldest people in this world are now 33 years of age because the paintress keeps just painting the number and it kills those people. And you go on an expedition to kill the paintress, and there have been many expeditions before you, and with each expedition, they are trying to leave clues for the next expedition. And you going on this expedition, it's leaving clues for the one after you. So the tagline is learn from those before you and you know, leave the things for the ones that come after. So you're on this expedition, you're expedition 33, you're Gustave, that's the main character you play as, and it's a turn-based RPG. It's gorgeous. It's Unreal Engine 5. It's one of the prettiest games I've seen. It does have some cracks. and I'll talk about those first because I want to end on a good note. The platforming isn't good. They do challenge you with platforming challenges. They shouldn't because it's not good. The platforming is not good. There's no map in the little mini areas, which is unfortunate. Uh, but and there is some slight stuttering going into a battle. But other than that, dude, this game is fucking incredible. And you saw some of it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's got some of the best turn-based combat I've played in a while. And I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy. I've played a lot of the games. I've played all of them. I've played a lot of them, and I've played them to completion. And I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. It's one of my top 3 IPs. Not only does this game is this game in the vein of Final Fantasy, not only is it on the quality, but I honestly think Square Enix should take a look at this game and fucking take notes. It's that
Ooh,
good. I'm
that's a
25 hours in, and I haven't finished it, so I can't tell you my complete thoughts. I really wanna have a spoiler cast on this. The music is on the level of Final Fantasy. They
you
did
are you are talking a big game.
I know. I know you know. Like, not many people like this is our first podcast, right? And they're like, "Oh yeah, it sounds cool." You have to understand the gravitas of what's behind these words. Like, Final Fantasy is top soundtrack for me of all time. Up with there was Zelda, Metroid, uh, Tales. This this is in the realm. This is in the ranks of Final Fantasy for me. It's that fucking good. It got critical acclaim. It got 90s across the board. I think it's sitting at a 91, and I can see why. And I'm so happy because I saw the love and care of this game, and I'm so glad that it came out and everyone's loving it too. It's sold out everywhere. You can't get the physical copies anymore. Yeah, I know. But they'll reprint them, but this game is making waves, uh, and it's I love turn-based combat. I know a lot of people don't. They do turn-based combat a huge, service in this. It's some of the best turn-based combat I've ever played in a while. Um, it's, uh it's on the level of like Final Fantasy 9, dude. It's incredible. I can't say a lot about it. I love the characters. The characters I can talk about are Lune and Mael. Mael. Uh, Mael is a she's like the crit build of the party, and then Lune, of course, is the black white mage, the gray mage, if you will. And Gustave is the primary character, the damage dealer, right? And then you can kind of build your party how you want, and you have these pictos, and pictos are like passive abilities you can equip on your characters. And then if you battle 4 battles with those pictos equipped, you can learn it for all your other characters, and they can equip it with luminous points. So if you have the picto equipped, it doesn't take the luminous points, but if you can equip it with luminous points with other characters, uh, it is a Souls light. It is a Souls light turn-based JRPG in Unreal Engine 5 with a crazy unique story. And this, yeah, it's a new IP. Very rarely do you see these new IPs come out like this. Very original story. I still really don't know what the fuck's going on in the world, and I'm 25 hours in, but they are explaining some things. The presentation, the dialogue, top tier. This game was made by 30 people, by the way. Sandfall Interactive, and Microsoft actually published it. So yeah, it's it's nuts. 30 people made this game. And yeah, check my math on that. See if Microsoft published it. I'm pretty sure they published it.
Uh,
Sandfall
I'm
Interactive is the developer.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure,
yeah,
that's the case.
yeah, because they had it in their developer direct, and it's on PS5. It's on all the systems except Switch, of course, on PC. But yeah, it
Oh,
runs
wow.
beautifully. Who published it?
Kepler Interactive.
Oh, Kepler. Really? Okay,
Yeah.
Microsoft didn't publish it. That's why we check. We fact check.
Yep.
Microsoft was behind it. They were championing this game really heavily, and it was in the developer direct. We saw it again at the Game Awards. Every time I saw this game, I was so sold on it. Just yeah, the music in this game, man. It's I don't I can't stress this enough how much weight behind this statement is, but it's on the level of Final Fantasy. The story's engaging, the cutscenes amazing, and the combat, man. It you have a good game when you go and actively seek enemies to fight.
Damn, man. I'm so glad. And you know what kills me the most is Microsoft looks at this as engagement numbers. So they
Mm,
see Oblivion and they see Clair Expedition, and they see them as two different games. So they're like, it doesn't matter. They're both on Game Pass.
yeah,
Everybody else can piss off, for the lack of
right.
better terms. And that kills me because if it was not for Oblivion, I'd probably be in this game right now.
Oh yeah, I
And
know. You'd
they
love
de
it.
yeah, they devoured each other, which is
I know.
it's crazy. I can't believe they would even consider that as a okay thing. Meanwhile, Sony is meticulously moving release dates around.
Right. Yeah, yeah, they're not cannibalizing their own games with release dates. You mentioned Ruin King and Battle Chasers. Combat's a lot like that, actually, and
Oh,
I think
wow.
you'd love it for that reason. Uh, yeah, just man, Clair Obscure. I know it has a weird name, right? Clair Obscure Expedition 33, but Clair Obscure in French. This is a very French game. It means light and dark. Clair meaning light, obscure meaning dark. So light, dark, Expedition 33 in French. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, so you say, Souls-like in there,
Oh yeah, it is. So you you have healing items that refresh every checkpoint, and you don't lose your shit ever. But it's it's a hard game, and I forgot to mention you can parry and dodge in this game. And actually, the developer, the lead creative director, was a Sekiro speedrunner. Did you know that?
that's disgusting considering it's Sekiro.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, the hook in the combat is you can dodge attacks or parry them, and it's very engaging. It's not just a turn based back and forth. There's some interaction in there, and dodging is easier. It has a bigger window than parrying, and if you parry, you do some major damage. So
That that's good, man. It's
yeah,
definitely on my list of,
yep,
games to get to this year.
you
Um
gotta play it.
as the order of what comes first, what comes second, that's definitely on the, list of games. If I can sneak it in, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but
Just dude, God, I can't say enough good things about this game. It's incredible, and I can't wait to play more. So, I did
I'm
want to do a shout out of another game I'm playing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just Monster Hunter Wilds. There's a arch tempered version of a monster that came out with the title update. For those of you that don't want any monsters spoiled for Monster Hunter Wilds, this is, I mean, it's a pretty unique monster. You can skip ahead like 1 minute, just hit that little 30-second skip. Okay. Arch tempered Ray Dow. Ray Dow is a fucking apex dragon. Think of an electric dragon, and he has horns on his face that fold inward to make a railgun that shoots lightning. And that's what I fought. And Arch Tempered is the hardest version of him. Shout out to Burrito Supreme. We took him down. Shout out to Admiral Merps. We're gonna take him down again. That's my Monster Hunter team. And yeah, he was fun. They actually introduced some new moves with the Arch Tempered variant, which was interesting. Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Good.
yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah.
glad. I'd like to think Monster Hunter is this year's, or Monster Hunter Wilds is this year's Helldivers 2.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah. I usually play like one or two games at the same time. One is like the story driven single player, and the other is kind of like one on the back burner that is kind of a living game. That was Destiny, that was Helldivers. Now it's Monster Hunter. And of course my Switch game I'm playing too, so I guess 3. But I usually don't play more than 3 games.
Yeah.
But yeah. Arch-Tempered Raydal, hardest challenge in Monster Hunter Wilds. We wiped the floor with him, dude. We fucking
Yeah.
owned him. He just does not stop attacking. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to Monster Hunter Wilds. But yeah, Clair Expedition 33, Clair Obscure. Please go buy this game. Go play it. It's incredible. It's a return to form, turn-based RPG, and oh, God, I love it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't talk a lot more about it because I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but uh, highly, highly recommend this game. And it might very well be my game of the year. It could be the game of the year with the scores it got.
Yeah, that's what surprised me the most is I knew it
Yep.
was gonna be a good game, but
Yep.
when all of a sudden the critics scores come in and it's like 90 plus, I was like, "Oh."
Right.
That classic, Brooklyn Nine-Nine scene where he's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh."
Oh.
That was my moment right there. Um,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you got into it, man. I
Yeah.
definitely look forward to it, come around time, but, when we get it when we can get to it, maybe
Right.
near the end of the year. If GTA 6 drops at near the end of the year, that'll leave a lot open for me because,
There you go.
just me and GTA kinda parted ways around San Andreas.
Yeah, I'd say make it a goal to complete it before the Game Awards because it's gonna get nominated for a lot of shit, dude. I'm pretty sure it's gonna win soundtrack or original score. Like, man, the music is it shines in the game. It's amazing. But at least finish it before the Game Awards.
Yep.
December.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Behind all
Yeah.
the other RPGs I got this year.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Cool.
Well,
Three
I
and a
guess,
half hours.
yeah,
Oh well.
that's about it. What do you think about getting out of here tonight?
Yeah, yeah, I like it. It was our first podcast, the very first episode. We had a blast. I hope you guys had a blast. A lot of content here. We had a lot to talk about. The next episode is kind of going to be a two-part of where we've been and where we're going. So on episode 2, we're going to talk about the games we're super excited for this year. We're going to go all into why we're excited and what games those are. So uh, I'd say this is longer than usual, but it was our first podcast breakout episode. I mean, we had episode 0, but that was kind of like a little test podcast. So this is our first official podcast of Shapes of Gaming. So our goal here is to build the community as much as we can. So share this episode, share all the links, let your friends know if you liked it. Uh, leave a like, leave a review. That'll help us, right? And if you have any questions, go on the Discord, ask a question. We might read it on the cast. We'll probably end with questions, but right now we don't have any questions because this is our first episode and we've talked a lot. So, but other than that, yeah, this has been a blast, dude. I'm glad we started this.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to the community that's already there, kind of
Yes,
helping us along. You know who you are in the background, helping us develop this product, and looking forward to bringing the other individuals in a rotating chair as we continue to grow this and continue to have a conversation about something that we're all passionate about.
absolutely. That's what it's all about. And yeah, if you join the Discord before episode 2, I'm turning it off at episode 2. After you hear this, if you join the Discord, you'll be officially considered a shaper, and you'll have a different color. So you'll kind of be like a founding member of the podcast. And I'm turning it off as soon as we launch episode 2. So if you hear this, join our Discord. You'll get a nice little color in a unique color that no one else will ever have after episode 2. So that's kind of cool because we hope to grow this. We hope to have a ton of members. I think we got like 40 Discord members so far. But yeah, we really appreciate all you guys. And thanks so much for listening. And always remember, keep gaming and keep talking about it. That's what it's all about. Have a good one. Shapes of Gaming is a podcast shaped around gaming and, most importantly, our community. That's you. It is written, created, and recorded in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado, by me, Matt Stenson, and my good friend Bob Harriman. If you would like to be part of this amazing community, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on all the social media platforms or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks so much for listening, and always remember, keep the conversation going, and most importantly, keep gaming.